Oh no. Not the microphone. Technology. Something. I something to them about the situation. No, it's uh what is your mic still having issues? Is that what hmm. Okay. Oh, that's yeah, I can hear you. Let me check the
Yeah. Okay, maybe that. Oh, okay. For some reason, the mic had not was on the wrong. It was
okay.
it picked up some default microphone instead of my microphone, so I just had to switch the properties so they should be able to hear me now because I have a green bar. So that was dumb.
Yeah.
Like so so Discord. That's why I was like, wait, hold, because at first I was like, is it not plugged in? No, it's on. Everything's plugged in, and Mathwiz can hear me. So wait, hold on. There shouldn't be a problem here. So that was dumb.
Love technology.
Oh
It
boy.
works 100% of the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, how is everybody doing? That includes you, Mathwiz. You're everybody.
You know, I'm a little off today, but I feel like I'm doing all right.
Same, honestly. Maybe I don't know. Oh yeah, I guess I'll announce it. Well, because I know you announce it because you got an offer too, but I don't know if you took it. But I don't actually know when it's happening. But I am recording my presenting for the r/anime awards because I'm doing the ending category or part of it rather. So I'm doing that later today. And I remember you mentioned you were offered, but I don't know if you were gonna do it. So
no, you actually just reminded me that I forgot to respond to that, so I might be too late.
Whoops. Oh well. Yeah, I spent a lot of my morning yesterday. Well, fucking finding endings is easy. Finding endings with subtitles on them is not. Like, because so many releases are Crunchyroll releases, which don't have the subtitles on them. So it was a fucking hassle trying to find the right release, basically. Some of them were on YouTube, but I downloaded a bunch of others, and just like in one case, I had to suffer through where the only one with subtitles was like a Jujutsu Kaisen opening that was like also in 60 FPS, so it looked like shit.
Oh no!
Even though there's
Not
a
the
fucking
60
character in Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 who shits on that. Like
Yeah, no, that character is good and real.
So yeah, that's so yeah, that's what I was doing lately. So yeah, I got to watch a bunch of ending themes for shows that I haven't actually watched. Yeah, and
yeah, that I remember. Because I did something related to the anime awards, like maybe it was 2018, I think, and I think I did. It was like voice actors or something, and so I had to like some of the performances I knew, but some of them I had to like look up clips to or watch an episode or something to get an idea. So it's definitely like it's interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, like some of the, I think I knew about almost every show. The only one I had no idea about was like My One Hit Kill Sister. But the ending actually kind of got part of the point across. Like part of the storytelling of the ending was the sister's feelings towards her brother, and I was like, oh, okay. Like her sort of protecting him and going, following him into the isekai world to hit things when it kills sister. So yeah. I don't know, but obviously I know that I know what Frey Run's about. I know what Gundam Witch of Mercury vaguely is. It's fucking Gundam. It's about war and lesbians. This one, if it's okay, maybe all of them, but this one is specifically. So yeah, the only thing I think I need to do is like look up it, because I actually want to see what the presenting part is like, because I've never done it before. I've never seen it. I don't know what's expected of me, but at the very least, I've seen and have notes on all 10 endings that are up for the running. So when one of the Jujutsu Kaisen one wins, I'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I remember the our anime awards at least being like more representative of a broader selection of shows than like Crunchyroll, which is entirely just a popularity contest.
Yes, well, because they literally have like the juror stuff, so it's like that part. So they have like literally half the options are popular chosen by the our anime, and the other half is chosen by specific jurors. So it's like they had fucking Aikatsu 10th story future Starway as some of the options for like film or slice of life, and I'm like, that's fucking based as shit, right? Because obviously it's not going to win a popularity contest, but the fact that it's there at all is really cool because, you know, it's fucking Aikatsu. Yeah. By the way, my favorite of the options was the Gundam Witch of Mercury one. It gave me chills, and I've never seen the show, so you know, it is what it is. The pre-run one was also really good.
Well, yeah, that's always nice if it's like, I don't know this show, but this was
yeah.
really good.
I think what was my favorite ending that I watched? Probably the Undead Unluck one of a show that I've watched. But I also like the Onimai ending. It was really fun. And yes, Red Birthmark. That's the one.
The one thing you can't say Jujutsu Kaisen does badly is the music.
Oh no, I don't think the endings were bad. I just didn't care for I don't know. It just felt like
no,
they looked good.
They're definitely,
you know,
like as someone who has seen Jujutsu Kaisen, at least the anime, like the first ending for the first season has a really unique vibe, and it's
the
chill.
dance one, right?
Yeah, and then the rest of them are a lot more like calm and just like, you know, you're just sort of taking in the episode that just happened, and it's not so much like a flashy ED. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, they're good. I think every AD was good. I just definitely, you know, was more into some than others. So, what am I supposed to respond to here?
All right, yeah, we gotta get the.
Nope, not that. Okay.
The genocide.
Because like, see, I know what's wrong. It's because like there's contradiction between the case file and the Oh wait, hold on. Wait, no, maybe. Oh, wrong one.
Has the mechanic been introduced yet about like highlighting?
Nope,
and shooting at things?
Oh, maybe. Maybe I'm supposed to disagree with. Okay, I think it's just one of those parts where I have to be wrong. For a time, or no, and that's Child 3. Yeah, I think that's why I'm getting confused. Maybe. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because obviously it's like I know that it's not actually genocide or show, but the game, you know, yeah. So that's why I was just getting confused.
The way that information in trials is kind of divvied out is like it can be very particular, and so sometimes I remember like if I jumped a few steps ahead of where the trial was at, it's like, oh, I don't know how to get there. They're like, show your work, and I'm like, I don't.
Because like I forgot, like what fucked me up is because like Togami's like Genocider Jack is involved with this case, and in my head I'm like, that's wrong. But like, I mean, it's not technically because it was framed after Genocide Show, you know. So it's like, but it's like I'm thinking way too far ahead. So unfortunate.
Do you ever have trouble playing the game because Byakuya or Aoi are so hot?
You know, I'm gonna be real. That's not been an issue. That's must be what happened. My aim was off because I was like, God, these characters are too attractive. I shot myself in the face. Man, I appreciate the $500, but I don't think friendship is. I don't believe in transactional friendship, so no. You could still donate the $500 though. That'd be pretty cool. I could use money right now. It's not good. It's not bad, but it's like it's far from bad, but it's not ideal. So. Whoop.
The one thing about this game is that, like, you know, getting the wrong answer, you actually get, like, dialogue and response. So it's like, of all the games, you know, this feels like the one where getting the wrong answer would be the, like, you can still get something out of it.
But my score! Oh no, I don't care. Oh,
that's just something I say whenever I enter someone's stream.
I appreciate it, Meadow Man. I just thought it was, you know, you gotta play off chat. That's part of the fun. Oh, cool. Coleman said, oh yeah, Coleman left a comment in the last one talking about.
Right.
Did you go read it? Because I'd recommend doing that if you haven't, because it's actually interesting about how people refer to Chihiro in Japanese. So, because obviously, like, one of your issues with the translation is how everyone switches to male pronouns. Just like, yep, that's it. But yeah, it was interesting because there's more nuance going on in the original Japanese. So yeah, but I forget it off the top of my head. So I'll use my co-host to point at it. So
I meant to read it, but I forget everything, so I'm reading it now.
Yeah. You better read a quick quiz we're getting out to Miyuki Sawashiro being amazing. So hopefully everyone can hear the game audio fine because yes. Oh god, is this the No! The Hangman's Gambit, that's really bad.
Here's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this chapter just is so much oof.
It was different in 2014, I guess. Maybe not as different as I'm vaguely remembering.
Well,
but,
I mean, like, I'd believe if the fan translation like used a different word.
They did, and it was like way longer. I'm pretty sure, but it's been so long, I don't remember.
Would it have been like
maybe dissociative or something? But that's
like, like dissociative identity disorder.
Maybe, but I don't.
Or something related to that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was though, because obviously that's 3 words, so that would have been way too long. But I vaguely remember it being 1 word that was really long. Probably because I was stuck on it for a hot minute, but it's been so long since I played this. That's about Project Patch. And yeah, also, Menno was asking how do you feel about Spy Family while I play the game a little bit, because I have my answer, but I remember you've seen at least season 1, right?
I mean, I saw part 1 of season 1.
Right, they split course, so yeah.
Yeah, I meant to watch more and then just didn't. I don't know. I'm bad with keeping up with seasonals.
Yeah.
I liked what I did see. Just didn't get more.
So with me, I actually started reading it back in like when there was only like a handful of chapters out, because I heard that when volume 1 came out, it sold 1 million copies, which is pretty much unheard of for a new series by a new author. Like basically the only times a new series had gotten 1 million copies was when it was a veteran author. But obviously that's not guaranteed either. So I was like, oh, that's a big deal. I should check that out. And I thought that first volume or 2 was so insanely fun reading it the first night. I fucking loved it. But then, so, and I still like it. Don't get me wrong. But I think where I'm at with it right now is because, like, it's so, like, what really alerted me was not just like the premise, but the potential of where it could go as a story. Like, because I'm just imagining like like more of the climax stuff where it's like, you know, everything comes to a head, the secrets are coming out, and like how are the characters respond, like just the fact that Lloyd is coming to love this family, and but also he cares more about his mission right now. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, where does the climax go? Like, oh, he has to choose, right, between like peace or his family, or like, you know, he stopped being and just that idea, like what happens when, you know, like yours deal, like one thing I even just like have straight up not even sure if I've grasped is like the alliances. Like, I guess, are Yor and Lloyd on opposite sides, or I don't actually fully haven't, like, because I've just been reading it ongoing for so long, like bi-weekly, and I just have to like, which one's which again? Yeah, I'm just not really, you know, super what's the word, in with it, I guess. But so that all that stuff was interesting, and it still is interesting. But I think what's happened is the series has gone on for so long now that not only do I have my normal, like, I'm going through an ongoing thing and losing memory and interest in it, which happens with like every fucking thing I read. Like even One Piece with Wano, literally my favorite story. It wasn't until I reread Wano that I was like, holy fuck, this is great. So with Spy Family, it's like it's introducing all these more things, and it's being interesting, and it's like when that climax that's eventually coming is still probably going to be really good. I guess where it's not that it's spinning its wheels, it's more that like I don't really see how every little episodic thing is potentially going to relate in the final parts of the story. Like, why does this like funny chapter with these kids who aren't like Anya knows but aren't, like, I don't know how that's going to be majorly relevant later on. And so if it's not funny, because it can be really funny, but it also can just be like fine, right? You know, so so that's just kind of where I'm at with it, where it's like, you know, I have a level of like waning feelings on it, but I you know, depending on how it like all clicks into place, I could be like back on the train. So I just, you know, would like, because there's definitely things where I like fucking Yor has been up to some stuff with a certain lady in the manga that's really interesting. They just introduced two elderly characters who, if they go in the direction that I think they might be going, it could be really fucking wild. You know, it's just gotta wait and see how it all clicks into place, and how, you know, later stuff recontextualizes these parts, you know, because when it's funny, but when it's not that funny, I'm just like, okay, give me something else, you know, like and that's it. So yeah, but it's still a good series. I still like it, don't get me wrong.
I have read the comment.
Oh yeah, so refresh me on it, because it's been a few days.
You know, in hindsight, I guess I could have just read it out loud.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering why you weren't doing that, but I wasn't gonna say anything. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll start from the top of the comment. The promised comment about the linguistic nuance on Fujisaki's gender. There are a lot of first-person pronouns with a variety of usage cases and interactions with other speech elements to define the voice and identity of the speaker. But sticking to what's relevant for simplicity's sake, the first point to be relevant is that many characters, including the point of view character Naegi, uses the honorific san for the girls and kun for the boys. And Naegi is the first to address Fujisaki after the reveal, and he sticks to the san he always used. That continues even after the flashback gives full context.
Okay.
Next, Celeste mentions Fujisaki as Fujisaki ... kun, taking a big pause to indicate intent on the pronoun switch and attention to the habit she's trying to unlearn. I don't know who that second character is.
What's the name?
Geno?
Oh, Genocider.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Kirigiri, Genocider, and Ishimaru also refer to Fujisaki in unambiguously masculine terms before Owada reveals any of Fujisaki's perspective on the matter. The rest don't say anything gendered, which is easy to do because Japanese is a really
that's kind of what I was referring to last time.
So yeah, like, it says a lot about the characters who did pick gendered terms. And then the other ones, yeah, don't.
Geno from Mario RPG. Why does he have opinions on Chihiro's gender? That's odd.
And then the second part of the comment is The most important part is Fujisaki's own character voice. Really unique speech trait, something... okay, well, yeah. In both flashbacks presented post-trial, Chihiro uses the first-person pronoun boku. Yeah, this is post-trial flashbacks, okay. Traditionally masculine pronoun. So it wasn't used before the reveal. And prior to the reveal, Fujisaki doesn't use like a gendered pronoun at all.
Okay.
And yeah, and then it's just like, you know, that would require extra attention on the part of like Kodaka, the like writer, and also a very conscious choice on Chihiro's part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and said it's very telling that Chihiro doesn't feel comfortable using gender-neutral terms. The only pronoun that Chihiro ever uses is boku.
Okay. Interesting. Because, go ahead.
I mean, I feel like that does definitely, you know, the like toxic masculinity of it is definitely,
yeah,
I feel represented. And it definitely gives more context than, you know, the English translation.
Yes,
of that
like,
could,
because just the fact that like Nagi doesn't change how he refers to Chihiro, even though San is pretty neutral, I would say, but he doesn't like, but even if it's normally neutral, he still uses it to refer to the female characters and then doesn't change it. Like, he doesn't start saying Fujisaki-kun like he does all the other guy characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's neat. But anyway, I stopped the game because we were getting to that. I just was thinking about how, like, scene-wise, this is kind of similar to the Komaida reveal in Chapter 1, because, like, you just have, like, all these other characters, and the characters, like, freaking out, and then the reveal happens with a bit of a personality switch.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not quite as similar as I thought it was, but it's still good, so... Yukisawa Shiro noises. Also, since there's been Monogatari discussion lately, I also just remembered I think it's Hana, where Kanbaru has some specific Yukisawa Shiro noises. It's very memorable to me.
Well, that makes sense, because, like, that's her narrator arc. But yeah, I mean, like, the whole, I guess, like, identity thread in this trial in general with, like, obviously there's the Chihiro stuff, but then there's, like, I mean, it's all about, like, secrets. So, I mean, that's kind of how secrets shape who we are and stuff. And whether that's, like, Mondo and, like, having a dark past, and then, like, this reveal.
Mm-hmm.
For all my problems with it, it's still, like, interesting, and there are things I like about it.
Of course.
Togami is such a dick.
He's great and a piece of shit. Let's fucking go! I love her so much. It just always puts a big smile on my face. I don't know what to say.
Performance is like really good.
Danganronpa V3? I will never be over it. It's so good.
And yeah, the art is very good too.
It's just this one where it's like all that's different about it is like her mouth is closed but her tongue's still out, and it's just it's good.
God, yeah, and I love how they're like those two not having shared memories like factors in later in the game.
Yeah, she's just like Genocider's always like she never has any fucking idea what's going on, but she's just always down for whatever is going on. So
yeah. I was gonna say, like, she's like a chameleon. She fits into any scenario. But realistically, it's like she's just always the same color and is just down to...
I thought you were gonna say she's a chameleon, but because she has a very long tongue.
Oh, I guess that works too.
God. How would you feel? To go off into Tanya's comment, how would you feel about Toko being trans? Because I've never thought about it before. Well, I guess there's like a, I don't know, making trans character a serial killer. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, that's not really something I've ever thought about.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, as far as potential, like, stereotypes, like, you know, Toko and Genocider, like, you know, the one with the split personality, like, being the serial killer is itself already, like, playing on...
Yeah.
And I mean,
I think they joke about it in the trial, where it's like, you know, wait, the one,
like,
yeah,
they're
yes,
aware of like the tropes and stuff. So I feel like it's interesting in that way. Because I feel like while they are the same person, they're also like two very distinct characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're definitely, you know, related. Like I talk about how Genocider is basically like Foucault's repressed, you know, emotions and desires, but you know, they still feel they have completely different vibes. So yeah.
And then that just made me think of Monogatari.
Oh.
And like Hanakawa.
Right. Yeah, she does have a whole thing about her repression. So,
So like how her role in this trial is like, oh, well, there's a serial killer right in front of us, so clearly it was the serial killer, and she's like, no,
yep,
I didn't do it.
Wasn't me. And then, you know, you have to defend the serial killer, and it's like, oh, well, interesting. I guess that also happens a bit in V3 with Maki, because she's a fucking assassin. You're right, and but she also never kills anyone, so,
Yeah, I guess I never really considered, like, connecting those two characters in, like, I don't know, but that is interesting.
I literally hadn't thought about it until just now. I was like, wait a minute, doesn't that come up in V3? I forget if it comes up, but I just remember that it was a reveal that she was a murderer, basically. So,
I mean,
that
like,
was a
this
secret
whole,
she wanted to hide.
Now that I'm, like, thinking about it, this whole, like, chapter focusing on, like, secrets and identity, like, it really could have been, like, a conflict that happened in V3 and it would still fit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you'd have to tweak a lot about it, but the general, like, concept of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess I can see how you could use, like, something like that to symbolize, like, a conflict of... I mean, because if it's, like, identity, you could definitely... I feel like it's... It sounds messy, but, like, I think you could do it.
Mm-hmm. Are you responding to Titania, or...
Oh, yeah, right, I should have mentioned that.
God, I mean, I figured. I just was making sure you weren't responding, just thinking about something earlier. Also, Menno Man, I have not touched Classroom of the Elite, so I can't make that comparison. Oh, okay, interesting. I just heard Hagakure say ramen topping, I think, or so. I guess they changed the ramen analogy to a Italian food analogy. So.
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, it's still food, but maybe I just misheard because
like...
I don't actually know Japanese. But
No, I think you're right because I feel like when I was playing through this, the person I was playing with made the same comment.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm like looking over this comment a little more, and I do think, yeah, like the characters who do choose to switch how they refer to Chihiro as opposed to the ones who don't. I do think it is very telling. Like with Celeste in particular, it's like, well, she's just a hypocrite because she's also living a fake life. Or hiding something, I guess, is the better way to put it.
Yeah, that's true. Because yeah, well, I guess you know it makes, or at least you know, maybe not make sense is the right word, but it's like they are kind of opposites in that, like, you know, Fujisaki's created identity is to hide his, you know, what he sees as his weakness, where Celeste hates her normal self and is like she wants to be her constructed identity. Right, where Fujisaki ultimately doesn't want to be that constructed identity, so...
You want to talk about characters that could be transcoded. I feel like Celeste, like that, just your description right there is like, well, that's very, like, you know.
And the fact that she presents herself as, like, so feminine, like with the laces and just, I didn't... Yeah, that shark's right there, too. Like, that's why Celeste is trans. Yeah. I had not thought about that. Danganronpa fanfic where all the characters are it's just retelling of Danganronpa 1, but all the characters are trans, everyone, all 16. I don't know. Sorry, that was dumb. My brain just was like, I was just thinking, because I was thinking about, because people do like talent swaps, or like I was talking about one where it's like, what if this character died instead, right? Like alternate sort of stuff. I've seen, you know, so I just thought of like, but they're all trans now. Like, okay. That's literally Danganronpa 1. They already all are trans. That's funny. Actually, maybe. Oh my god. Like it just saw Sakura and it's like, wait, 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 wait.
No, I feel like the way that I've always been kind of interested, I guess, in just the general way that Danganronpa 1 in particular feels like there's a lot of gender going on with like Sakura being a very masculine woman who people mistake for a guy a lot, but it's like she's still
Ishimaru
very much,
mostly.
Oh yeah, maybe it's just him. But like yeah, Sakura is definitely very still tied to her like feminine identity. And then obviously like a character like Chihiro who you know, presents outwardly as feminine to like mask the sort of failed masculinity, I guess. And I mean even like with like how Mondo and Ishimaru were like they had their bromance going on, and Aoi has like a little comment about like, or no, maybe they said like, oh, girls couldn't understand our like our bond, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, she does directly mention her fucking BL love. All right, because I was talking about how
yeah, she even says Fujoshi.
Yeah, wow, okay, because I was talking about earlier with you know, just like you know, Fukawa being you know, Genocider being Fukawa's repression, and you know, with Hifumi, she talks about how she just she writes literature, so she hates all that, you know, anime and manga crap, but it's like, nope, Genocider loves BL manga, so it's like, well, and light novels and shit.
Genocider just doesn't feel the like internalized shame for it. Genocider's just like, who gives a crap?
Queen.
Like, if you have a problem with me, that's your problem.
Queen.
And then I mean, like, you know, I'm looking at this comment again, and like Kirigiri being very factual and like not considering really much outside of the plain and simple information that's like, because she is the detective, she thinks very like logically, which is also like interesting that in Danganronpa V3 like they revisited the detective idea but from a more like compassionate emotional side. Danganronpa is cool.
Yes, I agree.
それにどんな場合の殺しだろうと使い慣れたハサミは絶対に外されんですけど、わざわざクソ重いダンベルなんか誰が使うかって。学園内に適当なハサミがないから近場にあったダンベルを代用したのでは。適当なハサミ？私が使うのは適当なハサミじゃなくて
Peak moment incoming.
おしゃれな自作のハサミよ。なおさらこの学園にはねえべ。それはどうかしらん。じゃじゃじゃじゃ
Love her.
Yeah, this art is so sick.
She's so cool. Oh, that's funny. So Koma mentions that the Zetsubo fan patch translated Fujoshi as slasher, which is like, because you know it's like slash pairings, like you know, but also murderer. That's really good.
I'm glad you explained it because I wasn't gonna make the connection.
And okay, got it. You're good. Well, because I feel like slash pairings is very much a time and place thing. Like I feel like it's not like we don't think of like. We think of shipping, but we don't think of it like, you know, Ron / Hermione or Harry / Hermione, right? Like, you know, or I guess, you know, I guess obviously it works for all kinds of pairings, but it's still.
I think
my
issue is just I haven't read enough fanfic. I feel like that feels like a very
like
if you know, you know sort of thing.
You just reminded me of when I was like in like freshman year of high school, and I was reading like fan fiction, even maybe a little bit before then, like with Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. And I was reading stuff that was like very dark and angsty Yu-Gi-Oh fanfics, or like, you know, yeah, slash stuff with One Piece that was pairing together like Zoro and Sanji and Zoro and Luffy, and I just didn't really get it. And then I thought about it years later, I'm like, oh, that's why Zoro ruffled Luffy's hair in that one fic. Like, because it's meant to be like, you know, a romantic kind of thing. And it's just like, it's just that weird kind of like, oh, I get it now. But because I was just like engaging with it, like when these would have been like some of the darker stories that I'd ever engaged with before I really got into more like stuff for older like movies, and just unchecked internet engagements, I suppose. So I mean, like darker, I mean like more the Yu-Gi-Oh one. That I don't know. It had like it's been a long time. I don't want to talk about it that much, but it's just just me unpacking things, I guess. Not that it messed me up or anything. I'm just like, I just haven't thought about it in a long time. So.
I feel like I agree with that Titania comment about Genocider potentially being a better friend than Toko, because I feel like the big difference between the two is that one of them is very honest and unashamed of who they are, and the other one is the opposite and like the most ashamed, and just like tries to hide her quirks, I guess. On some level.
Yeah, Fukawa's got a lot of problems, and Genocider is literally the manifestation of those problems.
Yeah, like, I feel like Danganronpa manages to say a lot about identity while simultaneously being, like, the most, like, cis-het, like, takeaway.
Yeah, no, because it ultimately does settle at that. Like, I was just thinking about how I think I saw a tweet where it's, like, just being tired of where the masculine, like, there's a masculine girl character and their arc is about accepting their femininity, and it's like, it can be good, but it's also just like, does it really have to be every single arc, right? Like, I remember Gintama, you were really interested in Kyubey, and it's like, yeah, this character's cool, and then what was her arc? And what it ended up being? It's accepting her feminine side. It's like, oh.
I still don't get what the point was with Kyubey.
Right.
It felt like there was... maybe I just didn't get it. I'd believe it. It's Gintama.
It's been a while. That's what I felt like the takeaway was. But then, like, because I like, there's a character in Heartcatch Precure, whose name I forget. Itsuki? The yellow Precure, who... She's also, like, you see her design, and it's like, she's literally wears a male uniform, and she's, like, a student council president, but it's like, she likes cute things, and her outfit is, like, super girly, because she's a magical girl, right? So it's, like, also about accepting her femininity. And, you know, Sakura is, like, her free time is, like, you know, she's self-conscious about her feminine. It's, like, it's good. I like these characters, but it's, like, does it need to be every single one? Every single fucking one.
Yeah, there's a Love Live character who does that as well.
Oh, Reen! Okay, you're right, because that's good. I love that moment when she comes out in the dress and the one crowd person in the crowd is like, kawaii, and it's like, yeah, let's go! But it's every fucking time! So, yeah.
Just headcanon them as trans femme.
Yo.
I mean... I would prefer, like, I mean, you can do that, but I would also prefer the variety of,
yeah. So got me just fucking outing himself. Not in that way. Wait, no, hold on. I just realized I was stuck out in the context of the trial. I was just focusing on the line where he says like, the culprit was in the girls' room, that's why I went there. It's like, but you know, because the culprit was a girl. It's like, dumbass, we didn't know that it was you know, at the time. You did because you already saw everything. But yeah, and that's why I was focused. I realized like how it ties everything else we've been talking about. Like, oh shit, what is Tokami in the closet about? Nagi shipping with Nagi apparently, based on your streams.
the thing about Togami that's in the closet is him being a good person, question mark. He's like, I don't need this.
I think I'm doing it wrong. But Yamada.
Part of why a certain character archetype appeals to me is them avoiding that trope. Girls who are masculine but like cool and suave rather than tomboyish.
I said the way around. Sorry. I was talking. You can go ahead. Sorry, I talked over you is what I meant.
I didn't even. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead and read out the comments that you were trying to read. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Just the type of character, like girls who are a cool and suave kind of masculine rather than like tomboyish.
Oh, so like in my head that's the like the Takarazuka Otokoyaku kind of type. Like my first thought is Akira from Kira Kira Precure a la Mode, where her transformation sequence like involves. Someone pointed out on Twitter ages ago that I saw that in her transformation sequence is part of she's on a staircase because that's meant to evoke Takarazuka kind of thing. And yeah, she's very masculine, but you know she's obviously, and yeah, she doesn't do that arc. Now that I think about it, like her arc is about like her desire to protect the people she cares about. Like yeah, and I don't remember her being like awkward or about her femininity. So yes.
Yeah, I feel like especially in a franchise like a Precure or something aimed at like a younger audience, like obviously you want those kinds of narratives where like, you know, like it's okay to like if part of your personality are like traits that are deemed more typically like feminine, but if you also don't want to be like beholden to that, but it's like the combination of that and then also the other side of like what you just mentioned with that Precure character, where it's like you also don't have to be beholden to those you know, things associated with your birth gender.
Yeah, because like I mean that's even the series, the theme of it is like cooking, you know, pastissiere, like cooking sweets and stuff, and I don't remember that being like an awkward spot with her because of it's like, oh no, I'm so boyish, but this is feminine, I'm struggling, but you know, like I don't remember that being a thing. Like not to say she never struggled, but that's also true of some of the other characters too. But God, I'm just thinking because I'm gonna hopefully rewatch a la Mode this year, and I'm just thinking about it again. I'm like, God, what a good fucking series. Like, not that I can easily like, you know, I wouldn't recommend it to you, not because I don't think you'd like it, which I think you'd love it, but it's like you have you would Precure are like how many started actually how many yeah, you still have to watch like Hero Girl, so you know.
Yeah, that one as far as ones I've started, it's that, Max Heart. Is there a third one?
You finished Healing Good. You never started Wonderful or Delicious Party. You finished Tropical Rouge, right?
It might just be those two Precure seasons, and then like just other magical girl shows. Yeah, I did finish Tropical Rouge.
And Doremi, of course, we're waiting on. But then you finished Cardcaptor Sakura, right? So
yes.
Okay, so yeah, you've actually done. Yeah, we talked about Tropical Rouge. What am I thinking? Yeah. So yeah, actually, because there was a point where I felt like you had like 5 different shows ongoing, and you've actually whittled it down to technically like 3. No, weren't you watching Sailor Moon a while ago? Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was probably too long ago to. I mean, unless you want to pick it back up, but yeah.
I mean, I'll get back to it eventually.
Of course.
I do. Persian Slashers comment. Like, how many characters like Chihiro have to, you know, accept their masculinity in the way of like girls accepting their femininity? And I do feel like that is not something I could think of as many examples for, at least not in anime.
Yeah,
where it's like
I'm trying, but
like that, because I guess at that point the message would be like you can be like, I guess with like the feminine side of it, it's like maybe takes for granted that like girls can be tomboyish but still be girls, but like for like men to express more like feminine behavior is usually like it can be a bit more divisive.
Mm-hmm.
At least like in a traditional sense.
Because I was trying to think of something, and the closest I can I could come up with any kind of example. Well, because even I guess my thought was, or but it's like, because generally when a guy character has to man up, so to speak, like they're usually not presenting as extremely feminine as Chihiro, and like it's just, if anything, it's more of a growing up thing, right? Like in Gurren Lagann, right? Like Simon he's not a manly guy, but he's not super like feminine either, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like the first example I thought of was actually Takaru from Muv-Luv, and again, that's a very much a growing up thing, and one of the things I like about Muv-Luv is that all the characters that he's sort of like looking up to and taking influence from, like, it's all girls. Like the fucking, there's like the most important character who's like a guy is probably like the fucking 10th most important character in the franchise, like after Takaru, like that, so which I just think is neat, but yeah, it's like, I just yeah, that's not as regular of thing as it is with the female characters, as we talked about. So
there's also a Persona 4 character, but spoilers.
yeah, none of us have played, or neither of us. I said none. Kind of talks about chat, but
None
obviously,
isn't here.
hey, maybe Nanmaji's here. I don't know. He's popped in sometimes. Because yeah, I all I know about Persona 4 is there's the 2 discourse characters, but then there was another discussion I had where apparently there's like a different character that is talked about that I don't know about, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna, I think, because that was on the Weep Club, because Bindi knew who it was, and he said, yeah, it's not one of the 2 discourse characters, because Kanji and Naoko, I think, are the 2 discourse, those are the discourse characters, and I know probably enough to hold a conversation, but obviously not enough to make any judgments because I haven't played the game. But I've just heard enough of the discourse that I kind of get it. So I don't remember enough about Shun's character arc, honestly, because I mean he's pretty, but I don't remember him like femininity versus masculinity being a part of like his thing. Like it might have just been more of a man up kind of thing, like the other characters have. But
I mean, he uses like flowers.
I thought he used chains. Was it?
Oh no, maybe I might be thinking of like a movie fight where he fights someone who uses flowers. I don't know.
Okay. See, Shark remembers that Shun uses chains. I don't know why what the all caps was struck out stuff.
The Saint Seiya movies left more of an impression on me, I feel like, than when we were reading the manga, but it was Aphrodite.
I was actually wondering, I don't know, it just made me think about, like, I wonder if you'd enjoy the anime more for Saint Seiya, but I don't know how it's regarded.
Yeah, I because the movies look real, like the movies have an art style I really like, but I'm not sure if that level of like polish would translate to a weekly TV anime.
And also, I just remembered Saint Seiya Omega, which is apparently not very well liked, but I'm still kind of interested in it just because the character designer also did Heartcatcher Precure Nojimoto Doremi, and you can really see it if you look up Saint Seiya Omega. It's like, oh my god. But apparently it's not very good, so unfortunate.
Oh, that Murazaki comment actually puts into context, like, if like Andromeda the Chained Maiden is like the archetypal princess character, then that's why fucking
Iki comes in to save him all the time?
Iki, all the time, yeah.
God, it's still the one thing from Saint Seiya that's left the most impression on me, because Iki would just, like, come in and have the coolest fucking interest ever. Like, it's just, I just, we kind of said, Iki, let's fucking go! Like, that was definitely the most standout part of Saint Seiya for me. And I think I like his fights the best too, like Iki versus Shaka. They were neat. I feel like we're getting to the part that would be an intermission if we were playing Danganronpa 2 or V3. Because I like how there's always a point in the halfway point where it's like, oh shit, we don't actually know anything in an intermission.
Wait, does the first game have like intermissions?
No, it does not. Because they're shorter trials, I'm pretty sure overall. But I didn't.
Okay.
I don't quote me on that. I feel like it's right though, because in general the game is shorter than the other two. So. Oh, I was trying to get it wrong. See some funny dialogue. Oh well.
期待外れもいいところだな。あいつは間違いなく女子更衣室で死んでいただろう。現場が他の場所でなどあるわけがない。だけど
Oh, I guess I do also kind of like how one of the end results of this chapter is like Togami sets this whole murder mystery kind of in place just to test like, all right, which one of you is the smart one?
And then he finds out that he's not the smart one. No, I love every time Togami just gets like tripped up, like especially Trial 4, like oh my god. The way he loses his shit when the truth comes out in Trial 4 is so good.
I don't know how long we've been streaming at this point, but I think I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick.
Go ahead. It's been an hour, so that you're fine. You're fine. I'll entertain chat while you're gone somehow. She's already gone. I don't know. Yeah, I'll think of something to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. Oh, I finished another Shin Megami Tensei game today, and then not today, yesterday, and I started another one, and then I stopped it because it wouldn't emulate very well. But yeah, I finished Majin Sensei 2, and it was okay. I like some of the gameplay and some of the challenges they set you up with. And I played. So there's actually Atlas's Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei isn't actually the first adaptation of the book that came out, because there was another Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei by Telenet that came out on the MSX, and I was trying to get that one to work basically, and it's kind of hard and it wouldn't emulate very well, and I eventually got frustrated with it, and I'm gonna play it a different time. I think I'm gonna give up on that one and just play Last Bible 3, which is my next one. So yeah, that's how I'm doing there. I have my next video recorded, but it doesn't have to. If the stream was less than an hour long, would she have been to go to the bathroom? No, but I thought it was funny. That's not what I was getting at, but I've not played Persona 4 yet, Titania. Or P3. I haven't played Persona 3 either. Cause like I am planning on playing Fess, because like Reload sounds cool, but I think I'm interested in it in part because of the tactic system, because like so far every SMT game I've played, I have full control over all the characters, and I know what I saw like an interview quote about what like the purpose of the tactic system was meant to accomplish, like as far as like the ideas of the game go, and just the fact that like it's different and relatively unique. Like the only other one, I'm sure there's other JRPGs that you don't have full control over your party. Like I think maybe some of the Tales games, but those are more action-ish. I get ish. I don't know why I said it like that. Final Fantasy 12 also came to mind, but it's it's an uncommon way to do it, and it's different from all the ones I've played. So I kind of want to play it with the more unique way first, even if because I know generally people don't like that and prefer the way Reload does it. So but as for when I'm gonna play it, so my plan this year is I have one second. Sorry. Nope. What was moved? Hold on. Damn it, give me a second. Oh, wrong carpet. Okay. What was I saying? So yeah, my plan is to play about an hour of a Megami Tensei game a day, and so currently, I think Shin Megami Tensei 2, or not Shin Megami, Majin Tensei 2 was about on how long to beat it was 55 hours. So I'm actually ahead of schedule by a few days, and so by my calculations, I'll be able to play. Or my next ones that I'm planning to play this year are Last Bible 3, Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, Persona 1, Persona 2, both Eternal Sin or Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, and Mach X I'm going to play in there. I don't actually know Mach X and Catherine. I know Catherine's not a Persona. I know it's not a Persona game, and I'm pretty sure. But I know it has some, or even Shin Megami Tensei game, but it has some similar. I remember the Matthew Matosis video. And he talks about the endings a bit, and I just remember there's a pretty clear Law Chaos imagery there. And I know it's by the same creative team, but I'm gonna play them anyway. Same with Metaphor Refantasio, because it's same studio, or it's Atlas, it's somewhat creative team crossover, so why not play some of the other games? Anyway, so if I have extra time, because I think after that it's Avatar Tuner, which is the Digital Devil Saga games on the PS2 in English. And then I think it's Persona 3 and Persona 4, so those will be next year, most likely. Unless I play really, really fast and end up playing Persona 3 this year. But no, I guess, I probably won't have time to play Persona. But then there's also the possibility that other games might get translated. So because right now my rule is that, because there's the Shin Megami Tensei franchise has a lot of sub-franchises as well, like Persona, of course, being the biggest one to the point that it's eclipsed Shin Megami Tensei. But my rule is that I won't play a sub-franchise if the first game in that franchise hasn't been translated. So I'll be skipping over Devil Summoner for now because the first one is translated, and I'll be skipping Devil Children for now because, Black is translated, but it's bad. So I'm just going to wait until a hopeful... the same group working on the Devil Summoner translation is also working on the PS1 Red and Black Book translation, I guess. I asked about it, and they said there's been no progress since 2017, from what I gather. So, yeah, but it's still a thought, I suppose. So that's good.
I've been back for a little bit, but I didn't want to interrupt your...
You're good. But to finish my thought is, so if Devil Summoner gets translated, then I'll slip that and Soul Hackers in there somewhere, and then there's also the Raito Kuzunoha games, and then I have to think about it. And then I was also maybe gonna play replays. I don't know. There's some replays in there too, because Shin Megami Tensei If has 4 routes, and I've only played one of them. But yeah, Persona 3 and 4 I'll probably play next year if I keep up my 1 hour a day thing. So yeah, there's some other comments in chat I haven't responded to, but hi Mathwiz.
What? Oh, I just saw. If the stream was less than an hour long, would she have been forbidden to go to the bathroom? A weird thing about streaming is always I can't just go refill my water or go to the bathroom. It always has to be an announcement, I will be back.
Yeah, no, I have not. I think I saw maybe the first episode of Danganronpa the Abridged thing ages ago, and I wasn't into it, so I never watched more.
被害者である藤崎さんは
And honestly, I feel like with the Bridge series, after being traumatized by SAO Bridged, I don't think I'm gonna maybe Dragon Ball. I'll rewatch that one day, but I don't know, because people love SAO Bridged, and it's kind of like season 1 it's fine. It's not very funny, but I think it does what it's trying to do. And then season 2, I just really don't like what it's trying to do whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like SAO Abridged is something I kind of just aged out of the target demographic for, I think. Because, like, it was interesting to go back and rewatch after rewatching season 1 of SAO, because it's like, oh, a lot of the core is still kind of here, just in a very, like, internet gamer kind of, like, modern...
Yeah,
I don't know when the original book was written.
Original book, or the web novel, I believe, was started publishing in like the early 2000s. So and we're now living in the year that SAO like happens. I guess I'm pretty sure. Like I think if I remember correctly, the SAO incident starts in 2024. But yeah,
season 2 of SAO Abridged is its own can of worms. Like they really, like, the episodes are longer, and I feel like they really lean into like the style of editing that they have, which is to like hold on shots for a really long time, because it's like, I get it, you want to avoid copyright as part of it. But then what ends up happening in season 2 is that they just make scenes longer than they were in the original in some cases.
Oh no, one episode that like bothered me, that was like, it was literally like a 20-minute episode that adapted one episode, so it's literally just like a worse version of the actual episode. Like, it's not abridged anymore. It's just the fucking show, but not very like yeah. I don't find it funny. I don't think it's, you know, really because the first season, like, yeah, it captures a lot of what SAO is and just exaggerates it and makes it funnier in some ways, but it like I don't think season 2 is doing the same thing. Like, in some ways it's trying to fix it, but if anything, it's like breaking the story. Like, oh, Asuna can escape at any time. Why is this story happening? Because like it does it what
it's also like, I think part of it too is just that it takes so long to come out now that it's just hard to maintain interest. Even if I had interest.
And yeah, I think have new episodes come out since we caught up, like, in 2022? Because I'm not interested, but I just thought about it.
I feel like one might have, because anytime a new episode comes out, my SAO Abridged, like, the video I made on SAO Abridged gets, like, a little view spike, and I'm like, no, do I need to unlist this video so it can die?
Because yeah, we did the whole stream where we rewatched that video and talked about SAO Abridged and our problems with it.
It looks like an episode came out 9 months ago.
Gotcha. So we did not see that episode. I think I might have joked about.
It means since because our stream about it, I feel like would almost be 2 years old at this point, and only one episode has come out in that time.
Yeah, no, I feel like I would have joked with you at some point about like linking you the episode and let's go, like we're gonna watch it 1 week when we chat or something. But I like my soul being in my body, and watching SAO Abridged Season 2 makes my soul leave my body. God, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, that's right, that would still be going, because if I was still waiting on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, like, because I watched it in high school, because I was also super into Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was the funniest fucking shit ever when I was in high school. I haven't touched it since somewhere in Battle City, I think, for as much as that means to Mathwiz, who's never really touched Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I just don't really follow any abridged series at this point. I did rewatch DBZA like last year and still had a really good time with it, even if there were some things in it that haven't aged well. Because yeah, I mean, maybe part of it is also just like my shift in attitude towards, like when I made my SAO abridged video, the problem I had with the premise is that I was very like, it fixes the original, and I never really had that attitude with Dragon Ball Z abridged, so maybe that's why like my opinion of that has. There might also just be more nostalgia to it because I started watching Team 4-Star in like 2010, whereas SAO abridged was a little more recent than that.
Oh yeah, you would have rewatched your SAO video in your recent stream of rewatching videos, right? But I imagine you still felt this similarly as when we talked about it.
Yeah, I don't remember if I had any new observations necessarily. I remember just trying to get through, because like I was hoping to watch all of my videos in like 5 days of streaming, and I feel like it's gonna take like 8 days. To get
God!
Because sometimes I pause a lot, and with the SAO abridged one, I think I was trying my best to not like. Except like I already said things about this. Let's just try to get through it.
Just exist while it plays, and you're like, ah.
Yeah, the big thing that's still like one of the funnier things in that video for me is like, actually I forget if it was the SAO abridged video or the It's Okay to Like Bad Anime video, where I had an observation like, oh, it's so humiliating that I cried at the end of the Aincrad finale, and I'm like, you motherfucker, I cried at that same scene on the rewatch.
And then you cried again later on in Mother Cesario, because of course you did, because it's like, it's like the story arc that rips my heart out of my fucking chest and crushes it before my eyes. But yeah, because I remember that was...
I got Mother Cesario confused with
Caliber or something.
Wherever they are in the back half of season 1.
Oh no, that's Alpine. Yeah, no, Mother Cesario's back half of season 2. So and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Crowdstorm? Also, we're getting to. Go ahead.
We're going to the scene.
They're taking a trial recess.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, like, I remember hearing bad things about Gun Gale, and then watching Gun Gale, and I'm like, oh, this is a really interesting story about, like, Kirito grappling with his trauma, and, like, reaching out to someone else who is dealing with kind of similar, troubled past, and how that, weighs her down, and it was like, you know, I mean, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And then Caliber was there.
It existed. One day I'll watch Ordinal Scale, but not this day.
Yeah, one thing I learned in going through a lot of my old videos back to back to back to back is that, like, initially it just kind of feels like I was lying to myself to, like, be more reflective of my influences and people I thought were cool. Let me pull up that.
Are you pulling up the stream that person's asking about?
Yeah, because it's
was
on my Twitch. It's not.
I
on
thought
YouTube.
I thought it was on Math's Wizardry. Okay. All right.
That was going through your Danganronpa videos.
You're right. I guess I assumed that because that was the same kind of thing where it's like you're streaming us watching, videos. Because I think it was just that one that we watched, right? Like, because there was no other. Because I guess I didn't feel a need to to watch my videos because they were much more recent and they were good. So.
Yeah, I don't believe I uploaded an archive of it to YouTube. Although now I'm looking back and I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Alright, let's get, I guess I'm gonna focus on the game for a second because it's cringe, but this is why we're here. Not really, but,
like, it's important context, but it's icky.
でも女の子のさくらちゃんが死体に触るなんてやっぱここは男子に任せた方が。いや
藤崎も男に触られるよりは女である我に触られる方がマシだろう。我に任せておけ。
さくらちゃん、あれユリなの？二人ってそういう関係？そんなんじゃないよ、ふざけないで。
では藤崎よ、すまんが調べさせてもらうぞ。
全身をじっくりと調べるのよ。そうすれば謎が解けるわ。
全身をとは言うが、こんなことに一体何の意味が。
どうしたの？
バカだ、そんなバカだ。
Get over it.
こいつは
何？
男だ。
そうですか、男の人でしたが、本当にありがとうございました。
冗談だ
我は冗談など言わぬ。
Finding it? Mathis?
Wait, what? What'd you say?
Did you find the Twitch stream? About the SAO?
Oh,
or
I
focus
tried to
on the
link
game?
it in chat. Did it not go through?
No, I don't see it. Maybe it's, link it to me and I'll link it, because maybe you're just not allowed to post links, for some reason. Because it's my
Maybe.
stream, so...
What if I try doing it from the video page? Nothing? Yeah, I'll just link it to you.
Okay, I'm going to copy link and link it in chat. Here is the Danganronpa. Wait.
Yeah, I'm like, would I be
There it
able to
goes.
tell if YouTube just like... Does YouTube have a thing in place where it like auto blocks you from links or something? Or
I'm pretty sure it does, because even in comments, I think unless you're like approved, basically, and I don't think I ever have you approved as like a comment moderator or anything. So.
okay.
So, but I can do it because it's my channel, right? So.
Can I still comment at least?
You could.
It didn't like block
One.
me, did it?
No, you
Okay.
I know you commented. What am I, a Google security thing?
Well, I don't know like what automated systems are in place for
No,
YouTube
I just thought it
streaming.
was, yeah, no, I just reminded, because we've had instances where, both, because we jointly, I have access to Matt's Wizardry, so I can upload the Nen show, and multiple
Oh,
people
yeah.
I have access to the Weeb Club, so there have been many a time where someone's trying to log into an account, and Google's like, use your phone, and it's like, me or someone is frantically messaging me about like, what number do I need, or press this number, and it's like, you know, so that's why when you said one, I was like, what, are we doing that again? So see, that was like a joke, but only for us, so I had to explain it.
Those are the best kind of jokes, the ones that you have to explain. It makes it funnier. I feel like my style of humor is to just make bad jokes, and then something about me playing it off like they're funny, even though I know they're not funny, is funny in itself.
Yeah, I know, yeah, it's, you make me laugh in your videos, so, my style of humor is just to make really, really fucking stupid jokes, like absurd stupid. I'm really excited for my next video for that reason. I haven't been doing as much work on it as I should, because I've been editing 4-hour-long Bleach podcasts, which is exciting to some people, even me, but other aspects about it are not as exciting, because I have to edit a 4-hour podcast before Sunday when I record another podcast that I do with a good friend of mine. You might have heard of her, Mathwiz. Her name's Mathwiz. That's not actually true.
Wow, does she have like a YouTube channel?
Sometimes.
Like, what does she do? Sometimes. Damn.
Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. See, this is what I mean about just absurd jokes.
I'm just reminded of that one time, like the story that Shaves brings up occasionally, where like, you know, like a bunch of, at Lachlan's wedding, like
yeah,
a
Zaria,
subset
yeah,
of
and,
the
AniTube
the
was there,
people
right?
invited were like, yeah, AniTubers or online friends. And, you know, a lot of them were like, oh yeah, you know, we're all retired. And then me and Shaves are just like,
Laughing
I
along,
still
but
want to make videos.
pain in your heart because you know it not to be true. Um, yeah. Because were you still working on your shonen video while that was happening? Or, what, do you, or no, because you might have had your Ranma video out after that anyway. So
Actually, yeah, the Ranma video was not long after that, so
Okay,
I would have
that-
been working on that.
that's good.
Like,
Obviously, Shaves has been pretty productive. So
I've technically been working on the working in air quotes on the movie video for like it was years by the time it got done.
Mhm.
But it's like, you know, how much work was done in the time of working on it.
実際
Mhm.
他人事だから。
それに戸上君が残した証拠はなんていうかあからさますぎるんだよ。
But yeah, you mentioned also Bleach and like people being excited for Bleach discussion, and that just reminded me of going through my Bleach and the Problem with Shonen Discourse
Yes, I saw you.
video
I saw you
recently.
tweet about it, and I was thinking about going to check the stream and rewatching that video and hear your response to it. Because, but you can talk about it though. So.
Well, it's just like, even if I think Bleach gets a little more positive discussion nowadays.
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
I think with the
Yeah.
big three in general, although I guess One Piece doesn't really get to have this because it's still going on.
Mhm.
But for like Bleach and Naruto, you know, maybe the consensus opinion has had the time to kind of shift a little bit because it's less people reading it as it's coming out or watching it.
Yes.
And going back through it in full, either for the first time or if anyone revisits it. And I feel like that, I mean, we've learned that on the Nen show, that like that really can change our perspective on like what the material is doing in a broader sense.
Yeah, and well, because I was even thinking about because one thing that's been pointed out with me with Bleach is that like the 1,000-Year Blood War anime has been happening, and apparently it's actually really good, and it for the most part, and that's intriguing to me because I you know there's other issues with that I've heard about with the actual main Bleach anime, so that's probably been part of the reappraisal. You know, with Naruto, of course, yeah, it's over, and like there's aspects people like about it, and then we've had I like to think we contributed to like more there being more positive Naruto discourse, like you know. So you know, I'll answer Jonich's question real quick, but like Hot Boy Spicy mentioned on when he guested on the Weeb Club that he was already kind of rethinking Naruto, and then he watched my Sasuke video, and that kind of I guess like you know really cemented it. So like he has a bunch of Naruto videos of his own, so it's like there's you know an example I can point at of our videos having a positive influence on other people who would then go on to make their own videos and about Naruto, right? Positive videos. So but as far as me doing a Naruto podcast with Spicy, I'd say the answer is probably not, because my thing with Naruto versus Bleach is that I feel like Naruto has had so much discussion about it, and even so much positive discussion since, like, starting with, the Talk No Jutsu and the Sasuke videos. But I've gone back and done more Naruto videos. Hot Boy Spicy has a bunch of Naruto videos. Shabes has a fucking 3 giant Naruto videos that are specifically on the anime that are good. Like, I feel like there's more things to be said about Bleach still that haven't been talked about. And that's a big part of why I want to reread it, because I have things with Bleach I want to talk about still. Where I feel like with Naruto, I do have a Naruto-related video, but it's not really about Naruto. It's more about, like, talking about going into these other ninja stories. So it's like... So, and I feel like Hot Boy Spicy just isn't really interested in making YouTube videos in general. Like, not to say he never will, but it's not, like, what he wants to do. So I feel like with Naruto, it's like, it's a story we've already both gone through enough, and we've gotten a lot out of. And it's also a story that has a lot of discussion about it. So I feel like if I do a Naruto video, it's honestly, way more likely to do a Boruto video. In fact, I actually do really want to do one, but I'm just kind of like waiting. Shapes, Caribou-kun, sorry. He did a big 3-part, more like, it was like a 7-part analysis series on Naruto that was divided into 3 videos. Like, each one was like an hour and a half long. They were good. What were you saying, Mathwiz? Sorry.
Well, I forget what the Boruto video you were thinking of making was, because I know
yeah.
we've talked before about how I also want to make one.
Yes,
I
'cause-
just have to watch more of the anime.
And hopefully catch up to the manga, which we should be doing soon, actually, because we're planning on finishing the original manga and then independently catching up to Blue Vortex. So
I'm still very bitter that more people watched the Toriko update thing than our part 2 of the Boruto podcast. I'm like, we had this 2-hour long, really good discussion back and forth, and it's like, no.
Yes, but as for my Boruto video, originally it was like my top 6 arcs in Boruto, where I basically just analyze and break down what's going on in like my favorite parts of Boruto. But now I know, because I know you want to do a defensive Boruto or something to that effect, I think was the idea. But with me and Boruto, it's more like I don't know, it might just be more like, because I want to watch the whole Naruto anime and then rewatch Boruto at some point, like maybe like way later. Because maybe I just want to be more comprehensively positive, because like I can't think of a series I have that is more like that, like because I like stuff like Aikatsu that no one gives a shit about, but it mean liking Boruto, even though it's not like my favorite of anything, but it's like it's so widely disparaged more than anything else I've maybe like Sword Art Online is comparable, honestly. Like those, but actually, yeah, Sword Art Online is probably the one, but I've already done SAO videos. So Boruto, it's a combination of like I haven't talked about it and everybody fucking hates it except for me, which is an obviously over exaggeration, but that's how it feels sometimes, because and there's some other defense videos I have in mind, but not for Boruto. So yeah, that's my idea for talking about Boruto.
そうですわね。では私もお付き合いいたしましょう。
もちろん俺も参加するべ。君には意志というものがないのか。昆虫じゃねえし、意志くらいあんぞ。
So, where are we in the trial now? I feel like I haven't been paying as
Oh,
much.
so yeah, they found out about Chihiro's actual gender. They're discussing like how that matters, basically with the swapped over, you know, the locker rooms, basically.
確かにそうだな。
And yeah, Muro's right, because like yeah, Naruto fans also think it's bad because, you know, they're dumb and they don't understand Naruto.
You know, what I said earlier about like, you know, popular opinion on Bleach maybe having time to shift because like it's not currently ongoing. I might actually have been incorrect about Naruto, because like it might have just gotten kicked over to Boruto, where people.
Yeah, that,
but,
you
I
know,
mean, I think with Boruto,
yeah.
it's a little more fundamental than just reading it or watching it weekly and not piecing it all together.
Because yeah, I hadn't actually thought about that, Muro, where it's like, yeah, no, the people who could be defending Boruto aren't, because, you know, I don't know, I felt like just in general, like people get a chip on their shoulder about things, and you know, like I think you see it, you know, in remnants of the Big Three discourse, and maybe nowadays where it's like, you know, they're mad about people arguing about, you know, just like yeah, you can't just you can't just like all the Big Three because someone out there is shitting on some of them, you know, and it's like, and they like other ones, and it's like, which is also true of like, you know, just shonen in general and lots of stuff. Like, it's tiring. It's so tiring. Like honestly, possibly part of my love for One Piece comes from the fact that I grew up, I experienced it in a period where it was not well liked. You know, so
犯人を目撃していない。
最初からいい。
ならば被害者の目撃でもよい。
今は少しでも新しい情報が必要。無理。どうせ被害者をも犯人だけだべ。
Plague of Gripes, my day is ruined.
Yeah, when I was rewatching the Talk No Jutsu video on stream, I was just kind of reminded, because like my Talk No Jutsu video came out before the Plague of Gripes video, and by the sounds of it, the Plague of Gripes video just kind of talks about a lot of the things that I like argued against in the video.
The Plague of Gripes video is a great representation of what like dumb people who don't care about or you know, basically people who thought tuning exams was the best shit ever think about Naruto, but pretending to be from a like position of like knowing and understanding Naruto when it really just gets a lot of basic things wrong, and just you know, he literally says, I don't know about that much about Naruto. Let's talk about it. That's how he opens the video. It's awful. And then he has the most fucking like virulent defenders who, you know, comment on when Vindy did the stream that I was on, where we watched the whole video and responded to it, and just the most annoying motherfuckers. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's probably other factors into it aside from just negativity is more like the algorithm definitely like feeds into negativity more than positivity. But,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it definitely is disappointing that like that video has like, I think saying it has tripled the views of mine maybe isn't quite accurate, but it's close. And it's like I was trying to argue against this line of thinking, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's big sad.
その時なのですが、彼は気になる言葉を口走っていたのです。
He said on Twitter that he didn't take the video seriously or something like that.
Or yeah, it's something about like people using it argumentatively, like he didn't care about it. So, but obviously that's not how people use the video or talk about the video. So, because it's used as this big gotcha towards Naruto fans. So.
I'm also just like, how do you make a video and not care about it or not take it seriously?
I mean, it's YouTube, and you'd think that you. But it definitely happens. Like I don't think you saw it because he actually took it down, but because Hot Boy Spicy recently made a defensive Sakura video, and he actually took part of the because I in the replies I talked about some of my issues with the video, and he was like, oh, I'm glad, you know, finally someone's saying negative about it, because yeah, he did not feel positively toward that video at all when he made it, and he literally made it because he thought it would do well, then proceeded to not do well, and plus, you know, like he wasn't satisfied with it, so he ended up just taking it down. Like, and we talked about it, and he was like, because pretty much all the other comments were praising that video, and I was like, oh, yeah, this video made me realize something I hadn't thought about. Also, there's some major so one of the things that he did in that video, and I don't think he'd mind me talking about it, of course, even though it's taken down. Like, I don't, you know, he like I said, he's cool, he gets it, but basically in the Sakura video, there's a part of that video where he's literally like, I'm just going to use this section for my Resolution Naruto video, but that section was very clearly written from the perspective of like Naruto and Sasuke, and Sakura is very much like I say. But then one of his issues with Sakura and Naruto, that because he talks about some of his problems with the character too, and he mentions that like, you know, she feels kind of sidelined in the story, and I comment about how it's odd that like if his problem is that Sakura is sidelined in the story, but then in his own video on Sakura, he uses a part of another video that sidelines Sakura in a dedicated Sakura video, and that didn't make much sense. And he was like, you know, and you know, like he pretty much agreed with all, or he said that not only did he agree with what he said, it was already in mind when he made when he put up the video. So, you know, just people, you know, you see like, how do people make videos without caring about it? It's like, unfortunately, and then think about the H Bomber Guy video, it's like, it just happens with him, you know, him plagiarism. Like, yeah, they don't care. They just want, you know, views or money, you know. So
yeah, like I had kind of a similar experience when I made my first Naruto video. It was like the second video I'd made on the channel, and it wasn't that I didn't care about it at the time. It's just like in the years since, you know, anytime I talk about Naruto, it's pretty much the opposite of what that video was, which was very negative, and I hadn't reread it yet, so, you know, kind of trivializing a lot of things. And but people would still click on it and be like, yeah, this is a good video, and I'm like, no, it's not. So I enlisted it because like YouTube just kept promoting it, and I just didn't want that out in the world.
犯人が
Oh, we're getting to the part that
Here's the moment.
yeah, because this is what for me. I think for me, it's definitely one of the more memorable moments from my first time playing the game, because this is when I realized like I literally just did not know who the culprit was, and I was like completely strung along by the game. And this is the part where it's like you have to realize who it is, and then you have that. There was a clip from your stream of it too, because you had that same moment of like realizing who it is and being like, no.
Yeah, the 5 stages of grief.
Right, like it's so good. Like I'm so glad I was able to play it without being spoiled. So,
Mhm. Oh, Murasaki also said that the Super Eye Patch Wolf Bleach
Yes.
video also kind of had a similar effect,
yeah, which
where
is
people would use it to shut down arguments.
which is why I took it down and then made another video and talk about a video doubling down on his points anyway. So it's like, okay,
Yeah, he corrected the misinformation,
yeah.
but the takes were still pretty similar.
Yeah.
I just think with the Plague of Grapes video, it's a lot of people not connecting and an unwillingness to do it. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's also a thing. Like sometimes when people don't like a series, they don't want to give it like a second thought in that way of like re-examining what they think.
Oh yeah, and there was some more because I think about a person just talked about how the double-edged sword of popularity and how the big three are kind of like baby's first anime and stuff. And what was I gonna say? Shit, I was going somewhere with that. Because yeah, they are like. No, I don't know what I was gonna say. I got distracted by the game. Unfortunate.
Blue tracksuit?
Yeah. Okay, no, I think this is a. Yeah, I was looking for the response that I'm supposed to steal, basically.
Yeah, I'm reading. I don't know how to read that username. All the letters are close together.
Alright.
But about Super Eye Patch Wolf, saying that if you like the series, then like my opinion doesn't matter. And it's like I think with the new video, it's definitely like I don't really have a problem with it in the same way, even if it's like I just disagree with the takes. Like it's more like correcting the misinformation. It's like I'm still glad that he, redid the video essentially, even if it's just like not a video I like.
Oh wait, no, I remember what it was because there was some discourse recently about Bleach not deserving to be part of the big three or whatever. When it's like that's not what the big three is, like that's not what it's about. It's not like the most popular series, like so another rehashed argument that people like.
Bottom line, don't F with shonen fans, they don't read.
Relatable.
It does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
私がこの話をしたのは苗木くんだけですわ。
では大和田はいつ知ったのだ。藤崎千尋のジャージが青いということを。
そりゃあ捜査の時にそのジャージを見つけた。
いいえ、それはない。
And yeah, it's telling you like if someone was completely accurate and talk about the big three and still hate it, like that's fair, like I think I like to think, obviously, because it's like, I like to think you can separate like analysis and understanding from personal opinion, right? Like I was just thinking about, I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is a widely disliked entry in the 20th Century Fox X-Men movies, and it's not, I don't think it's a very good movie. I think like it's not very, wasn't super great interesting from the start, and then like halfway through, like there's just like characters showing up where it's like, oh, it's the Blob, oh my god, it's Gambit, oh my god, oh my, and it like just kind of showing up because they're popular characters, and maybe, you know, not necessarily working for the pace of the movie in my opinion, but like it still has a point to it. Like there's overall conflict with like, you know, father figures and brotherhood in a sense, but it's like, you know, the movie having a point doesn't make the movie more enjoyable to me. And like the climax is funny because like fucking like Deadpool having fucking like, yeah, they're sewing his mouth shut and he has like fucking Cyclops' powers, so he just has like laser eyes, and it just made me laugh. Like it's just yeah, I did not like the movie, and but you know, obviously I'm not gonna like, you know, like, cause yeah, it's but to go where it's like, though I like the idea of them separating, you know, it's like but at the same time, the things I like more, I care about more, and I'm going to be looking closer at the point, right, and trying to pull more interesting things out of it, because sometimes it's like, what was it say? Because sometimes, yeah, I watch things that I really like, but it's not like I'm getting super deep things out of them that I can make videos about, right? Like, Wonderful Precure just started. It's incredibly fucking adorable. Like, oh my god. Like, I described the premise to you, Mathwiz, where it's like the main character is a dog who transforms into a human / Precure. So it's like, the second episode has a joke. Where the mentor character's like, we need you to save the world, you know, our kingdom from another world by helping the animals and stuff, and Komugi, the dog, but in human form, she's like, I just want to play and like play fetch and, you know, go on walks and stuff, and like, because she's a dog and she doesn't give a shit about like saving the world. She just wants to do dog things, and it's just like so dumb, and it's just like, it made me laugh, right? Or like comparatively, like with, you know, Wolverine Origins, it's like, I guess so far I've gotten more out of that movie and like its ideas, but like you know, I definitely do not enjoy that movie very much, where I had a lot of fun with the 2 Wonderful Precure episodes, right? So obviously there's more going on than just liking things or just analysis, right? Because they do kind of work together, but yeah, and what Muro said, it's like, yeah, I don't like saying things are bad just because it's like, because someone else thinks it's good, someone else likes it, right? And I just don't like making quality judgments necessarily, so that's why I try to say, yeah, it's not for me, because like Titania said, like Wolverine Origins, like she likes it. She doesn't like how Deadpool's handled the movie, but she overall likes the movie, and that's fine. You know, I don't want to say she's wrong to feel that way, right? And we can, you know, agree on certain like points, like, you know, Deadpool's character, you know, especially compared to like the comics and the later Deadpool movies, isn't really handled that well, and you know, and there were some ways I thought it could be done like slightly better, that to work better for the movie, but you know, but it's like, it, you know, it is what it is. The movie, it already exists, and was never very, very well liked. Like, people were shitting on it since it came out. You know, so I don't need to jump in this conversation to be like, this is how bad this movie is. I can just say like, I didn't enjoy my time with it, you know, and that's really it. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm similar with regards to that comment, that like, I usually if I don't like something, I will either assume that like I just didn't get it, or that it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I also generally try to avoid, or like if I use the word bad, it's like more of a I disliked it rather than like, I don't know, I guess I just, don't usually use the word bad like that. Definitely, like, maybe in conversation, because it's a lot harder to, off the cuff, like
Mhm.
say the right words to 100% convey the thing I'm trying to say. But like in a video, you know, like there might actually be like, one thing I talked about in one of the streams is I want to make a video on the 2 Hunter x Hunter movies, since I just did a whole video looking at movies broadly and what they do. But like one of those movies, I don't like the movie. And it could just be that I didn't get it, but it's like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to make a video that's on some level, like it's comparing the 2 movies, and there's one I like and there's one I don't like as much, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna write it or frame it, but
Yeah, because like
it'll be interesting.
It's definitely harder for me to write so I actually rewatched my Monster or Iceborne colonialism and bad faith journalism video, because that's a video that's very negative, but it's not about art, it's about a critique, right? I'm here, these people who wrote these reviews and articles are making very specific points, and I'm just taking down, explaining why those points are wrong, basically. Right, so that's very different from making a discussion about art, because obviously with, you know, I believe with art, like, I believe in freedom in general, right? And so artistic freedom is part of that, right? So making, you know, obviously, you know, I want to be pro just freedom of expression and doing things. So I don't want to say like, oh, but if you don't have character development, it's bad, right? Like that's not an interesting way to talk about art, right? But obviously, there's going to be pieces of art that I don't like. So, you know, it's just walking that tightrope of like not making the quality judgment and dismissing other people's experiences versus like being honest and talking about your own feelings, right? Because it's like, I don't know, because like I honestly could, I guess, maybe not could, but it's like, because when I think about like negative stuff, it's like the thing that I spent the most time on lately and also just did not enjoy that much is I played all the Devil May Cry games, and I just didn't find them fun. And there was someone I saw on Twitter talk about how it's like, oh, they're actually like really good characters. Like their writing's better than Last of Us Part 2. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't get that much out of them. I haven't played Last of Us Part 2, but just from what I know about Last of Us Part 2 and what I got out of Devil May Cry, I definitely don't feel that way. You know, but it's like I'm not gonna say they're bad. Like they're not. I just don't like what they're doing like at all. And I had like parts of fun with them. Like I could literally like, I remember like, oh yeah, this was that time I had fun in Devil May Cry 1. I got the grenade launcher and it was kind of fun blowing up enemies for a little bit, and then the rest of the game wasn't that fun. Or Devil May Cry 2, never mind. Devil May Cry, the joke is that Devil May Cry 2 is like awful and everyone hates it, even Devil May Cry fans. And yeah, after not liking Devil May Cry 1, I was legitimately shocked at how much worse Devil May Cry 2 was. But boy. And you know, I had fun with the opening part of Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 4 has like the only boss in the entire franchise I had fun with, Kratos. And then DMC5 had Dante Got a Funny Hat. That was great. It's just, you know, the franchise overall just wasn't worth, in regards to like enjoyment, it wasn't worth the time or money I spent on it. But I'm still glad I did it in the context of like, I understand more about my taste now and what I like and what I don't like about things, right? And I can, you know, point at Devil May Cry and be like, okay, I don't like things like this, you know. So and this is why, like, I didn't like, you know, part of the games you have to put in a big castle and there's like kind of exploration, but also they really just want you to do very specific things, and I just really didn't like that at all, because like sometimes I just get fucking lost in the castle and just forget where I was supposed to go, and or not know, because like you're kind of supposed to replay the games and just learn all that, and just so it becomes kind of a non-issue, which makes me wonder why it's in there at all. So in that regard, I much prefer Devil May Cry 5 because it just has more of a level-based structure, and I don't have to worry about having to fucking dig around the shitty castle. You know, so it's just like, like now I'm getting angry again. Just, you know, but it's like, you know, so, but yeah, that's just an example of like, I don't think of something negative that I was going through and not having a good time with it. Because that's the thing, I'm also discussing completionists and bringing upon this myself, because I could have just played the first one and been like, no, I'm done. I'm out. You know, because instead I played all 6 games. Because I guess what I was thinking about, because Brie was tweeting about Monogatari again and how it's like she wants Twitter to convince her to keep going, and I'm like, what kind of copium are you on? Because I feel like after Bake, you should know, like even if you, because I've seen some people in the replies being like, yeah, but second season has some good stuff in it. It does. That's true. I like second season more than regular Bake, but not like that much. When she's like honestly having such a bad time with it, I'm like, maybe Kizu, but it's like at that point I feel like she should just like leave the franchise for a bit and maybe come back to it after a few years and see if she'll feel differently. But even then, it's like,
well, I think it's like with that take specifically, I think it. Well, actually, never mind. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, sorry if that got, I mean, I'm talking about
No,
Brie,
it's
so.
more just I realized like responding to that is gonna go off on a whole other tangent, and there's something else I want to say. So I'm just like, I'll just let it go.
Okay. Yeah, but it's, because like I had a friend who he watched Evangelion and he really didn't like it. But he had people who kept telling, no, it gets better later, it gets better later, and he finished it and he still hates it, right? And it's like, because I think we can agree that, like obviously I generally think like it's very rare when the best parts are early on. If anything, I wouldn't like a story where the best parts are early on, because it's like, oh, it peaks here and there's how much left, right? Like that doesn't interest, that seems kind of lame, honestly, right? And a lot of the stories I like, the best parts are later on. But I also wouldn't, I feel like in a lot of cases, like you get the appeal early on, and it's like I think Trigun, it's because I definitely think, yeah, the best parts are in maximum, but it hasn't like. I'm not like losing my mind and like, oh my god, I enjoy this way more all of a sudden. Like I still think it's fine. Like that's what I was thinking about earlier, just not getting into things, because it's like we just read Shaman King and Trigun, and it's like, man, I wish I liked these more. Like, because Shaman King in particular, because I got some interesting things out of it, and especially reading the sequel manga, it's like, damn, there's some cool stuff here, but I just emotionally, I'm just not there, Sailor Moon, I watched 200 episodes of Sailor Moon, and it was fine. Like, I don't know. I just spend so much time on things that I don't love, and I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I'm a freak. I'm not normal.
Yeah, I think like with like the Hunter x Hunter video I want to make, I think maybe part of why I'm even like not opposed to making a video that skews more negative is because it's about Hunter x Hunter, which is a series that it's been my favorite anime for like as long as I've been an anime fan.
Yes.
And so like great, and now of course I lose the rest of that thought.
Talk movie bad.
Well, like, I think normally the reason, like, the kind of negative discussion I want to avoid is, like, when it feels like I just didn't get it. With like, the Hunter x Hunter movies, I feel like I understand them on at least some level, because it's like, I really connect to the main series, and so, like, I like these characters, and I like, certain ideas that the films introduce. But it's even, like, the point of the video for me is not that, like, I guess it would just be, I'd want to lean more into, like, why I dislike it, not necessarily, like, looking to prove, like, objective, quote-unquote, like, storytelling flaws or something like that. I don't know. I think I've told you a little bit about what I don't like about the second Hunter x Hunter movie before.
We've definitely talked about it. Because like it's definitely like, I don't know, the thing that it probably about like talking about like what ideas the movie gets across to is just like, because maybe an alternate perspective would like reframe things and make you go like, oh, but would that really make you like the movie more, right? But yeah, and I guess on a related topic is kind of what's also been happening is because like as I've been playing through these older Megami Tensei games, I'm seeing a lot of them are not very well received. Like Shin Megami Tensei If is currently my favorite, and it's very contentious. And I've only played like the least good part about it, I guess, out of the 4 routes. Majin Tensei, both the games are very disliked, but I felt like I wasn't into the story or characters by any stretch, but like I was pretty satisfied with them from a gameplay perspective because they're asymmetrical more so than like Fire Emblem, I guess, which I don't think you played that either. So, maybe you have. Or no, you played up XCOM, but I don't know about XCOM, so I can't use that as an example. I guess it's like imagine if you could recruit the aliens onto your side and use them as well. Like that's kind of what Majin Tensei, because it's and so there's not an even like rock paper scissors thing. Like maybe it's more like Pokemon in a sense where there's different types of demons and they just have different effects on each other. It's not as complicated as Pokemon either, but it's just like I don't know. It led to some interesting scenarios, and I ultimately had a lot of fun with the game. But more so than the first one. But even the first one, I was pretty satisfied when I beat it, even if I had some issues. So I'm playing all these old games that people don't like and liking them, and then playing much beloved franchises like Devil May Cry and just not having a good time at all. And it's like, is something broken in me? Do I what's wrong with me? I don't know. Maybe it's just that I'm old and I don't like games where I have to. No, I don't know. I'll figure it out one day. I just need to play more games. Because I'm looking at my like favorite games and it's like, are all of my favorite games just gonna be visual novels? Because I feel like, like fucking, Danganronpa 2 especially. Banger. Mublove, fucking banger after banger so far. So many other visual novel franchises I'm interested in, and I think they're gonna be really good. So I don't know. I just like what I like and don't what I don't like. Oh, and Aubrey, to answer your question, I'm not getting into Fresh so far. I mean, one of the things I thought was interesting about it, I think it's funny how they're fighting, like, their monsters of the week are like, somehow more dangerous than, like, any other monster of the week I can remember from Precure, maybe even compared to, like, Super Sentai. So, one of the ones I just found in the episode I just watched is, like, it was a clock theme one, where it's, like, it can literally reverse time and stop time, and so it's like that's really powerful, and they beat it. And then there was one earlier where it's like a chalkboard, and if you draw something on the chalkboard and erase it, it gets erased from existence. So I'm like, these abilities are really powerful, and they're just still beating them. Other than that, it's like I don't know, it's just not clicking with me. It's fine. If it keeps up like this, I'm definitely gonna feel like it's one of the weaker Precure seasons for me. But it could change. Like I still haven't gotten to the mid-season cure has been introduced, but they haven't joined yet. So
偶然とはどういう意味だ。
犯人は何かの折に偶然サウナで電子生徒手帳を壊してしまった。そこで電子生徒手帳の弱点を知ったおかげで2度目の藤崎千尋の時は
I know Hombre is joking about gameplay not for me, because like I think to a degree that's maybe not, I won't say true, but it's like, I mean, I've liked that, Majin Tensei. See, because with Majin Tensei 2, it's like the only part I enjoy about that is the gameplay, really. Like I'm not the story or characters are bad. Like I liked some of the banter they had and whatever, but they weren't like a draw for me. But it also wasn't like Devil May Cry is an action game, but like I enjoy other action games like Monster Hunter or but I just didn't click with this one specifically. But because I've thought about that, but yeah, I don't know. But I guess like one thing is like I don't know, with the challenges that like Majin Tensei 2 throws at me, I felt satisfied surmounting them. Where Devil May Cry 2, like I literally the final boss of Devil May Cry 3, I literally like spent an hour on it and I didn't feel fucking gratified at all when I beat him. So like I was just annoyed if anything. Wait, hold on, what's the question? What's the question?
Are you choosing Mondo?
Well, we already know Mondo's the culprit, but oh no, that's right. No, wait. Oh yeah, so it's about the e-handbook. because yeah, yes, the sign.
なんだとなぜだなぜそうなる
前に大和田君と石丸君はサウナで我慢比べをしたよね。
This detail is also kind of funny because it's like, at this point, for me, it was like a realization of like, oh, so any scene that happens matters. But then like a couple chapters later, there's the one with like Yasuhiro's burger, and it's like, this doesn't matter at all.
So a person's asking if I prefer maybe something more methodical than more spectacle. Because because like, see, the thing is, I like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and how Jacob Geller in his Metal Gear Rising Revengeance video, when he literally compares the two, but he talks about how like, you know, Devil May Cry, in order to excel at that one, you have to be more patient, where Metal Gear Rising sort of asks you to be more aggressive, and I like that. I like being aggressive. To Tanya, Yasuhiro's burger. Every CG is important. I do really love that joke where the fact that they give it a dedicated CG of the burger flying up, it's so funny. And only 70% of the meat flew away because the other 30% was horse. It's like, what? Or what?
Was that something about like Yasuhiro's predictions are correct like 30%
Oh,
of the
maybe.
time all the time?
God, I forgot about that. Yeah, maybe.
今の推理が正しいということになりますわね。
I've seen a vision, and the mother of your children and my children are the same. That bit of like foreshadowing in his first. Is it his first free time event?
Whose first free time?
Yasuhiro. And it's about like the bad ending.
Oh yeah. Maybe not the first one, but it's definitely one of the free times he mentions. God, the bad ending.
Was it in the demo, or was it like a discarded idea of him being the first victim?
Oh no, I think because in the demo it was you're right, because Sayaka was like the assistant character, and I believe it's basically Hagakure is the victim instead of Sayaka in the demo. You're right. Because
I'm glad that they didn't kill him first, because they would have missed out on a lot of comedy. Like, I think two of my favorite moments in the game, from a comedic standpoint, are like, the one chapter where you have to prove that Kyoko's not a ghost, and then the one after that where you have to prove that, like, you're not all the mastermind.
Nope, I didn't think that was it. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to, because I'm trying to think, because, oh no, wait, yeah. Because, bitch.
No.
Bitch!
At least you don't take damage from missing, like, with the lie bullets in V3.
Oh, okay, it was that simple.
A lot of people hated the ghost bit, but why? It's so stupid and funny.
That's probably, I mean, I don't know.
Like, I think the comedic punchline of Yasuhiro, like, just not understanding what's going on, and then the gameplay cuts in, I don't know, that just works for me personally.
It is really dumb. And the fact that, like, you have to prove that ghosts are in fact fake, like,
実は大和田くんの電子生徒手帳で、そして今大和田くんが持っているものこそが桑田くんの電子生徒手帳ということですね。
Wait, there's a ghost bit in Ultra Despair Girls?
Oh, when Komaru gets possessed, remember? And fucking Fukawa does a Buddhist chant to exorcise it? Which I mostly remember.
I don't
oh my
remember
god!
that.
Because I mostly remember because they changed it to "The Power of Christ Compels You" in the dub/English script, and but if you listen to it, it's very clearly not a.
What part of the game does that?
That was in the last chapter when they're investigating Toa Tower, because that's how Komaru finds out some important backstory stuff about the Monica and the company and their relationship to Monokumas and stuff. Because she learned something, I forget what it was, but she learns a detail that she literally couldn't have known anywhere else through the possession. It was weird. It was a weird moment. Very odd.
Yasuhiro is peak deadweight character.
True. Except in DR3 where he's just kind of there and
Maybe it's just the kind of characters that I can gravitate towards are the what, like, especially in a murder mystery like this, to have a character who just never knows what's going on.
It's pretty good, actually. I agree.
I think it also works, I think, with the structure of Danganronpa, because a lot of the trials can be very, like, winding, and, like, the specific way it conveys information is not necessarily the most direct through, like, the mini games and stuff. So having someone like Yasuhiro who, like, is dumb in a way that derails things, I think just, like, works on a structural level.
Yeah. Anyway, I am just focused on the,
I'm gonna run to the bathroom again before we get to, like, the post-trial stuff.
All good. Why figure this out? Oh, maybe it's right. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh well. I'm also remembering, because a lot of these panels, like, because they'll like, there's this one, the Leon one. I always remember the fake panels sometimes, just because it's like they're so they show up a few times in the later trials. So yeah. Right. Normally I don't have to do that, but I did. I'll wait for Mathwiz to get back to do the actual mini game thing, or let the thing play. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but because we already know what happened. But honestly, I'd probably be, as you says Yasuhiro, an actual killing game. Yeah, no. Keeping quiet is generally probably a good idea, but unfortunately, that might be reason. Well, see, I don't know. I just feel like not calling attention to yourself is a good idea. If you're a killer, I mostly have that experience from playing kind of like imposter games. Like there was a Rick and Morty card game based on one of the season 2 episodes where there's like fake characters going around. It's like you have to pretend to be the, fake, if you're the fake one and not, or whatever. And I just remember like one of the people I played with was like really loud generally, and that but when he was the imposter, he'd be really quiet, and then because he's just, I don't know. Just keep that in mind. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily translate to a video game, but that would be a real life situation. So I don't know.
その時藤崎さんは手にしたスポーツバッグにあるものを入れていたんだ。青いジャージだよ。セイスさんはそれを見たんだよね。そのバッグを持った藤崎さんは夜時間にもかかわらずある場所に向かったんだ。それは更衣室だよ。
Oh wait, what? No, I'm a failure. I should. Goddamn, I should have known that wasn't that one. Oh, fuck me.
君なんだ。そのバッグを持っそれはでもなぜなら彼はだから自分の電子生徒手帳を使って男子更衣室で藤崎さんは誰かと待ち合わせおそらく犯人は藤崎さんが油断している隙に
Where's Mathwiz?
襲いかかったんだその時男子更衣室のポスターやカーペットにおそらく衝動的な殺人だったんだだから犯人は慌てて偽装工作に取り掛かったんだ同時にポスターも回収したそして犯人は死体を女子更衣室に運んだんだ女子更衣室に入るにはもちろん女子の電子生徒手帳が必要だけどだからといって犯人が女子に限られるわけじゃない
Oh yeah, you just reminded me, Persian, because I remember like I haven't read Lord of the Flies, so if I'm completely wrong, like yeah, that's very possible. But
それを使えば男子でも女子更衣室に
you know, from what I understand about the book, it's like oh, a bunch of kids up on an island and they succumb to their animalistic natures and kill each other or whatever. But then like I remember there was an instance of a
そうやって女子更衣
real life bunch of kids getting stranded on an island and instead they like helped each other and you know tried to get through the situation okay like you know or just I remember you know because when everything's falling apart people tend to like loot and you know take advantage of each other but then like in reality during disaster situations people tend to look out for each other right so like I feel like you know
したカーペット
these like
あることを行ったんだ
in this kind of situation where like you know just putting a bunch of people in like you have to kill or you have to leave I haven't read Lord of the Flies so sorry if I'm misremembering it but I know I just feel like I guess
男子更衣
it probably yeah there not being a killing would probably be pretty likely that does remind me of one of the probably the only motive in Danganronpa that I think I'm because it results in some good character stuff but chapter 2 trial 4 with Gundam and Nidai is like that's the only case where the characters are literally forced to kill basically because it's like based on how that situation goes it's like if no one kills anyone like everyone's gonna starve to death right and so that one just always kind of like rubbed me the wrong way because it's like they literally have to kill to live and that's what the trial is about but I feel like next to all the other murders you know it just feels a little different in that like because with the other ones it's like the characters they don't have to kill and they can just live in the place with all the resources they could want you know they just don't have their freedom to go somewhere else so you know just thoughts
I disagree. I don't know what you were saying, actually. I just got back.
戸上君は延長コードを使って藤崎さんの死体を貼りさらに戸上君は被害者の血で現場に血文字を残したんだあたかもジェノサイダーショーの犯行だと僕らに錯覚させるためにねそしてその頃
Yeah, these like closing arguments, they're definitely like useful on the first playthrough,
藤崎さん
but in terms of like
処分した犯人は
like
サウナルームにと
reacting to it and like
Oh, yeah, it's
trying to
like-
like
yep.
talk over it,
it's
it's kind of like,
the art,
what do
yeah,
I
guess what
say?
the art and the music is good we know 'cause
Yeah.
I already talked about the Detective Conan connection
That
with-
was also something that like my co-host when I was playing through it on stream, like because I had to like I didn't know how to piece everything together and kind of had to figure it out in the minigame. So it's sort of like for being the other person on that end, it's like, what do I say?
right because it's like you don't want to help right like 'cause,
Yeah.
待てそんなはず
And it's not like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. We can't just like, oh my god, Mathwiz, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh yeah,
reminds.
that's
go
a
on.
different kind of not being able to help, like where I'm just bad at the mini games, and it's like all I can do is watch and laugh because it's funny. Meanwhile, I am just playing the game, suffering.
Yeah. I was reminded of a comic that kind of like imagine, because like obviously we see the game part, but it's like Hajime just starts skating in his mind, but we only see it from the outside, and he's like bobbing back
Yeah.
and forth. It was pretty funny. Still no bullets? Cool. Oh, the negative time.
This mini game is so mean.
I don't know. I have no rhythm. I have to use the special mode every time the negative time is up, because I'm just gonna get fucked if I don't. No.
Yeah, it's like once you lose the tempo.
Oh, thank God.
Oh right, when I was playing through this the first time, I think on like the final chapter one, like the final one against the mastermind, I was on like half a heart going into it, I think.
Oh, that's not
and,
happening.
Just barely. No, I like barely avoided dying, but it was like terrifying.
Yeah. Also, I do like how this one it does have the panic talk isn't with the culprit. Like, he's not the one freaking out; it's his friend. So
Yeah.
spices it up a little bit.
Yeah, and kind of like the different attitudes different culprits have to like when they get caught.
Yes.
Like some of them try to argue their way out of it. But Mondo's like, I'm a man. I'll admit to it.
I remember I didn't think about it until someone made the observation in a comment on one of my fanfics. But it's like they thought it was interesting because in two of my trials I literally just like I didn't have the culprit explain why they did the murder, basically. At least not directly. Like I like there was some extra information, but it's like, and there's levels at which things were revealed later. But like the culprit, because it's like, I mean, it's especially funny reading Detective Conan, because literally every fucking time the culprit gets caught and they spill their guts, so so I just remember thinking about how it's like, yeah, but when I'm okay, I lose. I don't have to justify myself to you, or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
like
So
that's where a lot of the storytelling part of the murder mystery happens, is in the reveal and the explanation. But like, depending on how you write it, that definitely seems like something you could even make the murder like part of the mystery later. Like, why did this person do this thing? Did it have an impact on like something else in the greater scheme of things?
Yeah, because like I knew the reason. Like, there was a reason. Like, as obviously I wasn't gonna make these characters act arbitrarily, but I didn't feel like the reason. I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about. Because like I like getting the explanations and learning about things, but but it's definitely like I was just thinking about things.
Yeah, I guess it also, like, if it's just a character who isn't very talkative, or like it's just like, yeah, you don't need to know why.
Exactly.
But from like a reader's perspective, it's probably like, well,
right.
But
it's probably something I could have like thought about, but the one person who pointed out thought it was interesting, so I'll take it.
I mean, that's the cool thing about fan fiction, is like you can kind of just, if you have an idea for something that could be cool, you can just make it, and then learn from it. If someone's like, I don't know if I agree with this, or like, actually I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Luckily, I feel like okay. So some of my older fanfics, I did like a 2 chapters of a Yu-Gi-Oh fanfic, and someone trashed me because like the duel that I did was like 2 turns long, And obviously in the anime you can have fucking duels that are like 5 episodes long, right? So they thought they didn't like that, and I remember just not. I don't know how much that was the reason I stopped doing the fan fiction, but I was like middle school, so you know, it wasn't good. And I did try to find it. I think it was I don't know, fanfiction.net maybe did a purge at some point because some of the old stuff, I don't know, that one was gone. But I don't think I had anyone saying anything. Maybe 1 or 2 comments on fanfiction.net, but I don't. Yeah, that's the thing, Muro. Is yeah, it was effectively speaking because I was like using real card rules, but also with the anime has just in case you don't know, Mathwiz, in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh card game, your duels have like 8,000 life points that which monsters attack or cards do damage to get your opponent 0. But the anime usually uses 4,000. So I would have, because my fanfic was based off of anime characters, I would have been using those rules, but with like my knowledge of the cards in mind. So so you're talking like even like Muro's saying that 2 duels being 2 turns long is just accurate even with 8,000 life points. So imagine having 4,000 life points. Like it's even like it's literally twice as fast in theory. Not even twice as fast, but yeah. So just like, of course, I will add that this is literally like. Oh, I was in middle school. Like we're talking 20 years ago. The card game was different. That was more to chat, not to you, because I know you'd have no context with Yu-Gi-Oh. So,
although I like the idea of a battle that is comedically short. Like I'm gonna all this build up and like I'm gonna win this, and then it's just like 2 turns in. Like
yeah, but at least with my Danganronpa fanfiction, I don't remember getting. Oh, yes,
with,
we should focus on this. Sorry, I was just on autopilot mode.
Oh yeah, can you pull up the like
the log
dialogue? Okay, we didn't miss too much.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, I also don't understand why this part of the game has like, oh, if you don't want to listen to this, you can just skip through it. Maybe for people who are. I don't know if anyone
I assume
plays
it's
Danganronpa
Monokuma being a piece of shit, right? Like I think it's just Monokuma just being Monokuma basically. So
that's believable.
Because I don't think the staff thinks down on, like there's full ass CGs. It's some of the most like emotional character stuff in the game. I think, right? Like I remember this is the trial that kept me playing, because after the first trial I was like, well, that was a pretty easy trial, and the killer's name was on the wall. I don't know if I'm gonna keep up with this game the whole way through. But then this trial had a culprit I didn't expect, and then they hit you with the character stuff that's like legitimately really interesting, right? And this is what kept me playing Danganronpa when I wasn't sure before. And oops, my life was changed through this one, this piece of fiction, this lie, as V3 likes to call fiction, right? So it's just, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and I even the first time through when I was like very put off by the presentation of everything, I still remember like getting to this part and I was like, wait, hold on. Is this actually like this is good actually?
Yeah.
Like, the way that Mondo and Chihiro's weakness and strength is contrasted against each other. One is physically strong while the other is physically weak, but emotionally, like, Chihiro was willing to be brave and tell Mondo this secret, and Mondo couldn't do that with his past. And so like that, he felt like threatened by the physically weaker, because it's like, you had strength and I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really did it for me is like there are like voice lines where like I think it's just Chihiro saying like weak, and then Mondo has the opposite, where like he's like, I'm strong, and
God.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh God. Monokuma describes himself as the lovely and hateful, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I guess also like what you mentioned about Monokuma being a shit, like, and like, oh, you can speed past this. I don't care about this drama. Like, I imagine, like, you know, Junko's probably like, oh, I just want to get to the despair. I don't care about like your personal whatever. Also, like, watching, like, going through this chapter again after watching that one,
The Moon Channel, I think?
yeah,
Yes.
about, like, the depiction of trans characters and how, like, you know, homosexuality is deviation from the norm. So, from one narrative, like, it might be seen as conforming to, you know, it, like, in Chihiro's case, like, oh, I'm a weak, like, not very masculine guy, so like conforming in a way to like, oh, if I'm not representing this idea of masculinity, then like
Yes.
Chihiro is better off in a way, like changing the way that they present. And I feel like that definitely gives me also, I feel like, a different perspective on this sort of reveal.
Right, because at the end of the day, like, because that's, yeah, exactly, when you think of it in the lens of conformity, because, like, again, your experience is that, like, the act of deciding to present, you know, through your gender and not based on your birth sex is, like, that is the non-conformity aspect, right? Like, choosing, you know, deciding,
So, like,
you know, your birth doesn't
there's-
define you.
So, like, there's a degree to which, like, how Chihiro is able to find a kind of safety in presenting feminine that I just, like, from my, like, you know, from the culture I grew up in, it's like, I can't possibly, like, it completely misses me because, like,
Yeah.
the decision to present that way is, like, you know, in my experience and like, my view is, like, that's what would be the dangerous part. It would be safer to live a lie, but like in this case it's kind of the opposite of that. And so maybe that was also part of like the disconnect I felt with it on some level.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, because I did watch that video after you mentioned it, and it was interesting. You know, I'm very careful because, like, just you know, because I like the way he talked about, like, you know, like, oh, it doesn't. This doesn't mean that people who, you know, aren't gender conforming in Japan don't have things of their own to deal with, but like,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
the way the law works is just like, you know, it's. I understood where he was coming from, and it made sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's like, you know, if you view it like from one narrative, I guess, even if it's like in other ways it's not.
No, because like as we've talked about, even if like Chihiro is by the text a guy, and like, oh, the story's not really about trans things, quote unquote. Really, it's like once you get to the fucking changing room shit and the like, oh, coming out and then being killed, it's like there's so many fears about like your trans experience that like are just more people, you know, more in closer to you, that like the game kind of gets at unintentionally, that is kind of not ideal necessarily, you know. But so it's like, oh, you know, like it's absolutely fair to talk about that, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like something else I kind of took away from the comment on the last discussion, what was the username again?
Coleman?
Yes. About like wait, no, now I lost it. Let me
The
pull up the
pronouns
comment
and
again.
referring to the characters by gender, or
I'm gonna read the comment again and see if I remember what I was trying to
go for
say.
it. I'll let you do that while I or go ahead and do that. Yeah.
And one of the things on the YouTube homepage is like Naruto's legacy of contradicting itself, and I'm like, God damn it. Oh, right, yeah. That with how like getting the perspective on like, first person pronouns in like the Japanese language and the way that Chihiro speaks and like um that like why do I keep losing it?
I believe in you.
Oh, right, yeah, that there's like a very deliberate writing choice there. Like, so it's like how I've always kind of thought of this is that like the way that the story plays out, it feels very like unaware of trans people being a thing. Like, it feels to me like it's written in such a way that doesn't consider even the possibility that like, oh, could Chihiro be trans? But that's not like a like getting the perspective on like the original language and how the character speaks and stuff. It's like, that's not to say that it's like there was no thought put into it, because clearly there was a lot of thought put into it.
But maybe it's
So I
coming
guess-
from a lack of certain perspectives, basically, or
yeah, so maybe the better way to say it is not like it comes off in a way that feels like, doesn't consider that the trans perspective can be a thing, but more just like that it was like a very deliberate narrative that maybe just didn't have the perspective in mind of like I don't know, it's hard to say.
I think I get what you're saying, because like even when like we talked about it, I was coming in from the place of not necessarily having that perspective and just taking the text too much at just like itself on its own merits, because that is a lot of the way I look at media. Is I just look at the text and try to look at it on its own merits, right? But like that's doesn't necessarily infer how they can be read, right? So
Oh, but yeah, Titania also had a comment about like Naigi also isn't very similar to like the masculine ideal. Like he is also very weak physically. And so yeah, there's just like a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, I guess.
Finishing Nagi's free times with Fujisaki and realizing that Nagi was the one who suggested Chihiro talk to Mondo.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the options is Sakura, and Fujisaki's like, that's not really what I'm looking for. And then now it's like, after this trial, it's like, no. I know I'm
also
now.
in like reevaluating this, like I think maybe one thing, maybe I'd fully considered it, maybe not, but like the fact that Chihiro, like Monokuma says that like Mondo is like the ideal that Chihiro aspires to be, but like even that ideal as portrayed by Mondo is not the healthiest thing either.
Oh yeah, no, what you just made me think about is how like the ideal that Mondo represents to Chihiro is also an ideal he's trying to strive for himself, right? By being strong, by filling the shoes of his brother, right? Like they're both striving for the same thing, but Chihiro's like even though Mondo is living the appearance of it, like Chihiro has a strength that he doesn't have, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, and also I guess I thought about it when you were talking about Monokuma just dismissing the whole, oh, this is why these characters did these things and why it matters to them and whatnot. Because I was just thinking about like because Junko, one thing that I don't remember her like acknowledging that it comes up a lot is because every trial in this game, there's a character who in some way is protecting hope. Is basically like they're falling to despair, but they're like I really realized it with Celeste, because she gives the key to the alter ego locker to Naigi before she dies, and she says like, I don't see hope in that thing, but maybe that's why I'm here, and you're gonna you're still gonna live, right? So here's Mondo protecting Chihiro's hope by, like, even though he killed Chihiro, he tried to protect the identity, right? Like, and Chihiro valued being seen as a woman, and obviously, and Mondo tried to protect that, right? So and that goes to, like, Sayaka tried to protect Nagi by writing Leon's name on the wall. In Trial 4, Sakura busted open the principal's office, and then in Trial 5, Nagi was the one protecting, Kirigiri when Monokuma was trying to kill her, and which completely went, and all of that went at, that's why Monokuma's plan fell apart. All of these, especially like Celeste and Sakura, and like those Trials 3, 4, and 5 especially were the ones that, like, crumbled Monokuma's plan, basically, Juko's plan. So I was thinking about that because you mentioned, like, oh yeah, Monokuma's kind of dismissing this stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, but this stuff is also, like, the same sentiment behind what ultimately, like, just defeats her. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Because I guess because, like, she can't predict what happens beyond despair. So Danganronpa 1 is like, hope can come from despair as much as hope despair can be the result of a fallen hope. Where and in Danganronpa 2, it's like, what she doesn't believe about that is, like, that they can willingly go to despair because there might be hope beyond that. Like, that completely is alien to her. And because she, if how Danganronpa 0 frames it, is like, she hopes for despair, basically. And that in itself is its own kind of despair. So it's a neat duality.
As far as to Tanya's question, do I think Chihiro's story is more easily adapted into a trans mask or trans femme story? Because it's like, the narrative of the game is not going for a trans femme story, it's going for a cis man story. So it's like, I think also in trying to read it as trans mask, that, like, I'm sure you can, right?
No, that's because I feel like that's the change you would make, right? Where Chihiro was born a woman and then wants to become more manly and looks to a man to get that, and it goes back. Like, that would, honestly, that might be worse than what, at least, like, emotionally, like, just the idea, like, the coming out part, right? Not worse as, like, narratively, but like, worse than just, like, emotionally, like, because the one thing that you brought up that I hadn't thought about was, like, the fear of coming out to a person and then being, like, violently retaliated against, or which is sadly the reality for some people, or even if not violently, but, like, just being cut off from your family, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Especially if you're, like, younger, like, these are high school students, and so, like, like, if someone comes out to their family and then it's like, the worst happens, and it's like, all right, go find somewhere else to live. Like,
yes, which awful. So I feel like that'd just be harder to grapple with if it was a trans narrative. Not that it's easier here necessarily, but
yeah, I feel like also reading Chihiro as trans mask, like, you could. I feel like in some ways that would be ignorant of like, because reading it as trans at all is definitely, like, on the narrative level is not what the story is doing in any case. So then it's like looking at it from a more presentation, like, aesthetics sort of, like, lens. And I feel like trying to read Chihiro as trans mask kind of potentially ignores the, like, I don't want to just say trans femme coding, but, like, that, like, coding maybe isn't the word, but, like, a lot of this feels very trans femme.
Well, yeah, well, and I was gonna say again, because she's mentioned adapting it, like, specifically changing the story to be more trans, because I guess, like, to do it in a more trans, to do it it would be like a detransition, I guess, because if Chihiro's already trans femme and then wanting to be manly again, like, that's how that narrative would be, and that's just, I can't even wrap my head around that one. So it's just hard for me to, like, there's just to unpack the layers of that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of, like, why this is interesting on any level is, like, I feel like no matter, like, if you try to readapt it into something explicitly trans masc or trans femme, there's still going to be like issues with
Oh,
it
for sure,
on
for
some
sure.
level,
Because
like context.
because the issues
or...
are with the framing itself, right? Like the changing rooms and the murdering a person who comes out to you, right? Like
And,
that's
yeah, like
that's
the
going to be an issue whether
yeah,
it's
like
a cis or trans person, right? So
Well, yeah, because it's like Chihiro's gender reveal being a reveal, like it's a dramatic plot twist, and
yeah.
yeah, that's the framing.
Thank you.
part.
That's another. I wasn't considering that, but that is also true, right? Like, because that's the cringe scene I stopped at the conversation at, because it's like that's what we're here for, to cringe at this shit. These characters just overact. Sakura and Ishimaru in particular just losing their minds, right?
It could be a trans femme coding with wanting to be manly in the spiritual sense, but still wanting to be a woman. I mean, like maybe.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
wanting to like be a woman, but still like.
Well, because I just thought about like
abandon
because
like,
how
those masculine
how
positive
Kageki
qualities.
Shoujo describes the Otoko Yaku archetype from the Takarazuka kind of stuff is like they're not really masculine necessarily, but it's more that they're like a fey creature because there's something that kind of doesn't actually socially exist because they are like a feminine example of masculinity, right? Like they're not really how men are, but they're basically something created by women, right? Like for like say BL manga and like Takarazuka plays. Because I was just thinking about Akira from Akira a la mode again, because it's like she is like yeah, again, like her arc is like about protecting the people she cares about, and it's not uniquely masculine or feminine, but it's like it's still it's like a shonen idea, right? Like protection is a really important idea in like One Piece and Bleach, and so I don't know, it's a interesting conversation.
I think Owada feeling outmanned by a trans mask Fujisaki would be the same, but more hard-hitting to the character, not necessarily more hard-hitting to the reader. Or more nuanced, really, depending on the details. Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely think that could work, for sure, that, like, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Craftsworth?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, I was trying to think about it, but I couldn't come to anything that I was.
Because like my first thought was like, if I don't know, like I guess you could. No, I don't think I have the brain power to try and like construct this.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be more interested in seeing like your own creative writing regarding Danganronpa and trans stuff, but I won't say much more than that because I don't know how much you want to keep close to your chest, or if you want me to say that at all. Sorry if you did, but it's too late. God, what have I done?
I mean, like I guess I feel like there'd be potential in like a trans mask narrative that it's sort of like, like, yeah, it would really depend on the details, because like it could run the risk of like, oh, the character who's not really a man was more man than the man. But I think with the right like framing, it could like not do that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, because I don't know. As you said that, I thought of the Yu Yu Hakusho example where it's not really like the man outmanning the man, or the the trans man outmanning the cis man, but more of like the trans or the trans woman not being more of a man than the cis man accepts, which is like, why no dad Togashi, but that's not really the same, so never mind. I'm laughing at myself for saying dumb things. But we're getting into Mondo's backstory too, so
yeah, I mean, like the thing of it is that like it's gonna be a complicated subject regardless of like so it's like there could be pros and cons to like any approach, I guess.
Yeah. Well, because I remember you talking about how like valuable you thought the way like Oda did like at the end of Wano with the Yamato and Okiku just chilling in the bath and it not being that big of a deal. right?
Mhm.
But I remember someone else in a reply or a comment on Twitter or something thought that they thought, you know, the trans characters in Wano were like superficial, right? Because it's like where it's like part of what you know I thought you liked about it was the fact that it's not a big deal. These characters are just trans and it's just part of their identity and it's not, you know, right? So it was like that going to just what you said about like, you know, no matter which way you handle it, I feel like, you know.
Oh yeah, like it can be just kind of a matter of fact detail that is like, this exists, we'll move on. But like, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong necessarily of like hinging a big narrative plot point on a reveal like that. I guess it's just like kind of a trope in horror movies or things like that where the reveal is like, you know, it's the shock value, it's the it would depend what you're doing with it narratively,
Yeah.
I guess.
Just reading. Peaches and gravy don't go together, Monica. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I feel like doing these streams and talking about this stuff is definitely like made me think about it more and made me more like even more interested in this chapter as a whole than I was already.
Well,
But it's
I mean,
also like I feel like it's pushed me more to be like I don't think I want to make a video on this because I feel like there's like it would just be too much of like a hornet's nest to try and unpack and not like say something that upsets someone or
no, I know you talked about like your Togashi trans characters video getting a bunch of awful comments. So I understand not wanting to because it's like I guess it's more of a community issue because I like you know I feel like at least ideally you know I don't want people you know in your case like a trans person to feel dissuaded from talking about something you want to talk about because you're imagining like the response it's going to get, but the fact that you are going to get a negative response because of people being shitty, like that's fucked up and it shouldn't be like that, right? So you know that's YouTube being deprived of a potentially really interesting video because people are shit, right?
Sometimes like it feels like because I'm trans, that's why I shouldn't speak up, kind of, because, like, I guess that's just not what the broader society wants to accept, that it's, like, the person who, like, you know, if you speak up, you get backlash, you get, like, you know, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down, kind of thing.
Because, see, it's interesting that you say that because, like, I've also thought about tackling the subject from certain angles, like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I'm part of the reason like I'm waiting on it is because I want to see how Yamato's character arc goes. And there is already I saw a video that has in the thumbnail. It's like Queers Never Die. It's like a One Piece retrospective on the transness, I guess. So I haven't watched that video, but I have thought of doing an Oda's trans characters video. I talked to you about it. But like part of my hang up with that is because it's like, well, I'm a cis guy talking about transness, right? Like there's because I got comments like that on my Love Lab video where it's because I talk about blackface and stuff, and it's like some people had a problem with me talking about that because I was white, right? And it's like, so there's part of it. Well, so if you're anxious about talking about it because you're trans, it's like, well, then who the fuck can talk about it, right? And part of the reason I want to, even as a cis person, like I don't want to. Like, ideally, I'd have enough research backing me up so I can point at, like, trans voices and not be silenced. Like, that's, what H. Bomber Guy talked about with the James Somerton videos, where he's, you know, he is gay, but he's silencing other voices in the community and by plagiarizing from them, and that's bad, right? Like, I don't want to speak over people. right? But I also think that, I guess my personal thing on my feelings on the subject is that, like, ultimately we need cis people to understand and accept trans issues, and as a cis person, by me talking about it, like if we just let trans people do all the talking, then like that, I feel like that's maybe not the ideal, because we want everybody to be able to talk about it, right? Like I just from ideally a position of good faith and understanding, and I want to be able to come at it from that to be able to talk about trans matters from a position of good faith understanding, right, without silencing other trans voices, right? Because some people, I don't know, so that's why I'm just like, because I want you, I guess I want you to feel like it's okay to, not because it's like we need more Mathwiz videos, but like, I don't know, I'm just thinking about like just talking about these kind of topics, and just like having, because like I said, if a trans person can't talk about it, then who can, I guess. So but if you don't want to deal with the shitty responses you'd get, then that's also completely fair, right? So
yeah, I think it's just something I've been thinking about, because someone that I follow had made like a jokey sort of tweet, like a trans girl saying that a cis girl has trans girl vibes is like the highest compliment they can give, and then a bunch of people like were in the replies saying like, wow, you're saying that a woman is like a man in a dress, and it's like that says more about the person making the reply than the original tweet, because like, people just like to take things like that and read it in the worst possible light.
Jesus,
And
that's
yeah.
Because I did see some tweets related to that, but I didn't see those awful fucking replies. Yeah.
So it's like, I forget what I was gonna say.
I don't know, we talk about like people responding to trans people talking about things, and I also remember just seeing some people taking issue with like I know there's like some level of discrimination, like like I think maybe it was James, maybe some of the plagiarism stuff, but I remember someone commenting on how like some of the people getting harassment in the situation where like the trans people, or like people ragging on trans people making jokes about trans matters, like, oh, but so they can't joke about it, like
because I remember Lachlan, Pedantic Romantic, had made like a sort of like quoted like a response to that just like the reason why people like lash out at jokes like that or content like that is because it's like being trans is supposed to be seen by those people as like, a negative. It's like a sickness, or it couldn't possibly be something that someone takes pride in, when it's like, just I don't know, backlash like that just feels very telling, I guess. I think there was even like, I saw someone say that like how like, with like anytime like a woman speaks up about something in like a male dominated field or whatever, it's like, oh, of course the woman had to say it. And it's like, so with that like comment about like, cis women having like trans girl vibes, it's like, if anything, that really like having the backlash really is validating to the trans girl who made that tweet, because it's like, yeah, women get spoken over by men all the time. So like, I don't know. I'm fine with it, but I don't want it shoved in my face.
My dad said that shit, and that it drives me up the fucking wall. My dad has said that shit.
No, AKA, I don't want to see it because I'm not comfortable with it. Yeah, like I think I had a discussion about that in I forget if I was talking. It might have been the Wandering Sun video I was talking about. That just like whenever people say that, I feel like I can't take that seriously now, because it's like the people who will say like, oh, it should be organic, I don't want it shoved in my face, will also be the people who, when it is more subtle, will try to say that the reading isn't there.
Right, which it's
I feel like that's why like it's very daunting, the thought of like trying to make a video about this, because it's just like it's like it could kick up so many other discussion topics, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about like because especially the way because like if you just look at the text, Chihiro isn't trans, but like that's doesn't but so we don't would have to argue why it's fine to talk about that and dedicate a whole part to this video to that
Yeah.
that people are just gonna ignore anyway. So and funny to Tanya mentioning One Piece being good because it has blatant trans characters, and people are still mad about it. Like I remember when Alexander was tweeting about Yamato, people were like, "Oh look, free block list in the replies," because he just tweeted Yamato and was like him, and it's like just everybody corrects him or corrects in quotation marks. Mine is like just block him. Honestly, get out of here. But
Yeah, it's like they'll have like a public facing way of saying it, but what they're really saying is, just like I don't want to see it.
Yes. Anyway, let's we got more flashback to go. Not that I don't like the discussion, of course, but we can I'm fine to just fucking sit here and talk after the the trial is finished. Like this conversation is why we are here, honestly. Like like we literally played through the entire of chapter 2 just for this hour-long conversation about 20 minutes of gameplay of cutscene at the end, basically.
Yeah, it's like it's why we're here, and I still kind of feel like I have to be very careful with how I say what I want to say. Even if it's like, I don't even know if there will be comments on this live stream after the fact.
Maybe one, but unless this one just blows up like the fucking Fishman Island Nen show, where it's like randomly this episode, it's like I think it's the third most viewed one after the maybe last I checked it was even closing in on some of the first Naruto ones because those were on your main channel, so those had way more views.
Oh yeah.
But the Fishman Island One Piece one was just like somehow just caught the wave and got a bunch of comments and dislikes. Didn't Thriller Bark get a bunch of dislikes too or something for some reason? Like Thriller Bark, literally
the
like
ones that got most popular. It seems like.
Unfortunate. When I'm pretty sure we only had like positive good things to say about Thriller Bark. So where at least is it like I don't know. It's not even a contentious arc like Fishman Island. But anyway, that's off the topic.
This is why we played Danganronpa. I mean, it's definitely why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because you started doing this on your own.
Right. Then I was like, I don't think I need to do this to write my script, hopefully. I mean, maybe I will. But then, and then I was like, well, then chapter 2 came up and we had the idea of like, oh, wait, yeah, you could pop on because you had the video idea. Also, Mondo's brother just got isekai'd.
Where do you think he went?
He got a cheap power and a harem, and it was all good. But that's my fanfic that I'm writing.
No, see, what the real fanfic is that Chihiro also got isekai.
Oh my god! That would be wild. That's like the halfway through the series reveal, where Chihiro is also in the world and has
all
cheap
the
powers.
characters who died.
Oh my god!
You can't do that with Danganronpa 2 because Danganronpa 3, the anime, exists.
They brought them all back, except Nanami, who wasn't.
Except Chiaki, which is just like. That's so mean. You just wanted to have the dramatic impact of like permanent character death.
Yeah.
I mean, like it works in some ways, but that's like, yeah, right? Yeah. Do I want to make a video on the Danganronpa 3 anime because that's another
that would be interesting.
Of, like something that I have definitely like fundamental problems with, but. There are still things I like about it in its imperfections.
See, I would really like that video to exist because I'm not going to talk about Danganronpa 3 very much. Like, I really don't... Like, I left the comment on my video and I had the reaction stream to discussing that video. So, obviously, even though... Like, and even if I go back and, like do a tirade on the tirade, right? Like, it's not going to undo the damage that's been done, you know? But like I don't know, I just like the idea of here's a video that talks about the good and interesting things that Danganronpa 3 does without necessarily because we probably mentioned some of the parts you have problems with, right? So yeah.
And that video would be a lot less discoursey than making a video on chapter 2.
Because it's like I don't know how contentious. I don't know how the reputation of the show is, because I know there was some positiveness around the time. I remember because I remember looking up Danganronpa 3 discourse after it ended while I was making my video because I wanted to see what the feelings had. People were like, "Nah, I had problems, but it was okay," and I was like, "No, it's the worst thing ever."
Yeah, like I remember we watched it together, and I think our
Sorry, got to the
said the
voice line.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were watching it together, and I think our conclusion was like a very like mixed, like
Yeah.
you might have raised it from like a 1 to a
It was like I
3
think
or
I think
something.
Future Despair was like a 4 and Future was like a 5. I think because
Okay.
Future had like the Munakata conflict and Juzo and the fucking the trio of guys who I thought
Yeah.
were worthless but actually offered a microcosm of the whole conflict, and also Tengen, who's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But where Future had like I don't know, some Hinata stuff that was neat, and Junko and Mitsurai being funny, and like the conclusion is kind of like, yeah, that mind control, like it's just kind of
Oh, I think Mitarai was a character that it's like one of those examples where like I feel like I get what they were going for and like respect that on some level,
but you don't
even,
like the character, yeah.
Yeah, like the execution, or not execution, but what would be the word? Actually, no, I'll use execution because it's funny. Because
and like, come on, you had the line, like, of course you clipped the all of this just because I like anime. It's perfect. But
one of these days I'll get to use it in a video. Maybe.
Maybe that's but one thing I forgot is just like, I guess Mondo, they mentioned how specifically he's living a lie because everyone thinks that like Daya fucked up and died and Mondo surpassed him, when really, like he's completely living under the shadow of his big brother, yet he's the only one who knows. So I thought I just forgot about that. I don't know if that adds anything to the discussion, but it's just a little detail that I think is neat.
Yeah.
Because I guess like his, like, because you know what? Yeah, because like.
Oh, I actually like the idea that like, Mondo was like the platonic ideal of like what Chihiro aspired to be, but like, it turned out to be not all that great for Mondo. But also like, Mondo's brother was the ideal that Mondo aspired to be. And that also kind of ended in tragedy. So like, I don't know if there's a connection to make there.
I mean, yeah, no, I was kind of going down the same route where it's like, because I mentioned earlier that like, Mondo is also trying to strive for an ideal that he doesn't represent, and Chihiro sees him as that ideal when he isn't, right? So there's just like, the insecurity resulting from his brother, basically. Like I knew about his insecurity, about his weakness, but I just forgot about how his brother factored into that, because it's like, Chihiro is stronger than him, and that's sort of like externalized, like, but then, he's, that's why he killed Chihiro, because of the insecurity about like, being weaker than his brother, yet being put up on this pedestal, and like, just, I just ended up repeating what the game says, but it is what it is.
Oh, right, yeah, because Chihiro says that, like, oh, you're so strong, and he's like, I'm so strong, am I? Like, my brother died, and I couldn't save him.
I just fucking had a fucking. I'll save it actually, because it's more fan fiction related, so no one cares. But I think that's a little interesting, I guess. But
I do also think that like I feel like I have also kind of some complex feelings on Mondo, because it's like, regarding like the Chihiro reveal, it's like, on the one hand, he was the person who harmed Chihiro the most from that information. But then also, like, after the fact, even though he's the one who hurt Chihiro the most, he also still tries to protect Chihiro, protect that secret. So it's like, it's like doing a bad thing led him to do a respectable thing, I guess. You know, does
Yeah.
that make sense?
No, because I don't think it like redeems him by any means, but it's definitely like I don't
Yeah.
know. I think I guess the comparison I just thought of is because I remember I think it was Ron from the your streams because like
Mhm.
Hanamura, right? Like he gets he's a pervy gross piece of shit, right? But he gets a
Mhm.
flashback after he reveals that he killed someone, right? Like oh, but he cared about his family, right? And like I think they said something like she said something like um oh, you're supposed to feel bad for him, and I don't know, like if you feel bad
Mhm.
for him, sure, but I just feel like that's more of a reader response thing. Like I mean, because I
Mhm.
don't know, it's just, but like yeah, it's like here's it is trying to like, because like I guess make you yeah I guess in the same way of like oh yeah he did a good thing, so it's not, I don't think again it overwrites the fact that he killed someone with
Mhm.
Mondo, but and same for Hanamura, but I don't know, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, there is like the hypothetical like fanficky kind of idea, the good ending where it's like instead of killing Chihiro, Mondo's like, you know, oh, you were strong enough to do that. I can't do that, and there could have been like a little bonding moment, you
Mhm.
know?
ごめんなさい。
That's where the fan fiction is.
um
And now I'm just remembering like when I was playing through this game for the first time, like in that one interaction where it's like Mondo says something that upsets Chihiro and Aoi like lectures him for it. And then I made a comment something or yeah, he's like, I'll make you a promise as a man, and then I had a comment like Mondo protect Chihiro, and it's like poorly aged things.
No.
I think that's the idea. Mondo's murder was out of heat of the moment, emotional irrationality. Yeah.
変わりたいんだ。
That like if he had stopped and thought about it for a second instead of just like spiraling.
Mhm.
Actually, that's what happened. It was like a knife in my gut. So it was like Chihiro killed
Oh my
Mondo
god.
emotionally.
でも、
I'm just saying things at this point.
Yep, Mondo can't live up to Chihiro's standards of manliness, because yeah. Ah, boy.
違うよ。
Yeah, because I guess it's like not even necessarily like presentation wise, it's the reveal that sets Mondo off, but like narrative wise, it's not
Yeah.
like Mondo doesn't kill Chihiro because Chihiro is secretly a guy. Mondo kills Chihiro because it's like, you called me strong, you're like challenging me.
Like right after saying that he wanted to change, and
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, I guess it's the same. Oh my, okay, there's an actual connection that kind of matters. It's like it's the same, because like he was the one who challenged Daya to the race, right? Like he
Mhm.
and he well, so he challenged his brother, and his weakness led to that his brother's death, basically, because Daya protected him, right? So here's
Mhm.
that same like that masculine, like I challenge people who make you look weak, right? Like it's just that's that heat of the moment irrationality is
Yeah.
it's the same thing that led to his brother's death too. So it's basically just like that masculinity is what's literally killing these people that like Muro says that he might. Like, yeah, he probably would have been supportive to Chihiro if he had,
Yeah.
like, if he wasn't in, like, literally in a small enclosed space with a weapon that, and that anger, right? So, yeah, like, if you thought about it, yeah. So, I had made that connection before that I remember of just the, yeah.
僕
God,
Yeah, that like Chihiro was complimenting Mondo, and Mondo took that as like a slight somehow.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any security in his own strength at all.
Mm-hmm.
God.
俺は藤崎千尋を殺しちまった。いつまで経っても自分の弱さを克服できないせいで、そのせいでとんで
Insecure shonen protagonist?
Oh no! Look, none of the insecure shonen protagonists I talked about killed a person in a moment of trans panic.
Oh no! I mean, I don't know why I said, oh no, that's actually a good thing. That they don't murder someone in a bit of irrationality.
Yeah, it's even like making a joke like that. I'm like, I can just hear the YouTube commenter in my brain like, it's not trans panic because narratively Chihiro's not trans, and like that's what makes it tricky because it's like, even if it's like, yeah, narratively that's not what the story like.
You know,
it's like, yeah.
You get it. Like, you don't need to be condescended to.
Yeah.
That makes me, because I did feel that, like, that was the response I had when you were talking about it, because I was like, I got you. Chihiro's not trans in the narrative, but that's like, you're like, yeah, I know, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck am I talking about? Like, that's why, because I was being dumb in those earliest discussions, because I was wrong. But, because I didn't get it.
See, maybe that's also the, where, like, the presentation and the narrative, where the, like, clash for me comes from, because it's like, some people, like, I don't know if I can think of an example off the top of my head, but, like, some people have the sentiment of, like, trans people aren't a thing, you're just, like, a mentally ill, whatever gender you were born as. And so it's like, because, like, this narrative is not about a trans character, it kind of comes into similar, like... I'm trying to think of the words to connect what I'm trying to say.
It reaffirms that mentality.
Yeah, kind of. Like, even if it's
maybe not reaffirms, but it lends itself to that mentality, I guess. Because I don't. Again, I think if it, because Chihiro is not gender. Chihiro's not trans, but he's also not gender conforming either, right?
Yeah, I guess it's
he
like
wants to be, but yeah.
Yeah, like if I look at the story in a vacuum, then it's like, but like it's impossible to view any story in a vacuum, right?
Right. What's Japan? Oh god. Anyway, it's butter time, I guess.
Butter time?
Yeah, that's a really dumb way to say it, but
No, it's perfect,
it's
actually.
true. God, look, it's so there's the part in Danganronpa 3 where we see all the characters as they die, and like Nagi's having a traumatic flashback episode, and Mondo's just like butter with a jacket on it. It's like, I shouldn't be laughing at this part. This is really like fucking dark and messed up for Nagi, but it's just so silly. Like, it's so weird.
Titania says, in a non-transphobic society, this story would be okay. And I feel like, yeah, that's probably how I feel about it, too.
Yeah.
That it's like, if you could divorce this story from the context of the world, then it's like, yeah. Sorry, but I think I cut you off.
No, I was. It's like, yeah, if you divorce the story from the things that scare the very real and legitimate fears trans people have, then yeah, it's perfectly fine. But unfortunately, people suck, so we can't do that.
But yeah, you talking about the moment in Danganronpa 3 and like the traumatic flashback, but then there's just Mondo butter off to the side.
Just melted under his coat, and it's like, oh my fucking god, why did you do it like that? Like, there's no good way to do it, because like, oh, you have a carton of butter there, like that's that's not gonna be not funny either.
Yeah, and it's like, why that also kind of bothers me with Danganronpa 3 is like the effects, the way that Danganronpa 3 treats the effects of like lasting death is, I think, to me, like how it handles the cast of Danganronpa 1 and the cast of Danganronpa 2 are at odds with each other a little bit, because like, you know, it's very reflective of like showing like how like Naegi and that living cast of characters has kind of had to overcome the loss of like their classmates and friends and stuff. And then like with the stuff with Mitarai at the end, I forget who the character is that talks to him, but it's like, you know, we have to,
or
oh yeah, it might be Hinata, that it's like, you know, we have to continue on for the people we've lost. And it's like the whole class of Danganronpa 2 minus Chiaki standing in the background.
Person
and it's like,
we've lost. Sorry, let me reframe that. Like,
yeah.
Do
So
it for
it's
her.
like, so it feels like, because the cast of Danganronpa 2 is able to come back, it's kind of like, well, if you're gonna undo that, then why doesn't the cast of Danganronpa 1 come back? I guess it's just...
Well, especially, or keep that cast of Danganronpa 2 dead, like, because, like, that's a big part, that's a part of the ending, too, of Danganronpa 2 as well, because I remember just, like, Sonya and, you know, Akane, like, they're thinking about the people that have fucking died, right? And, that's
and
pushing them
even,
forward.
Like, the false paradise of, like, oh, we're all alive and we're all happy, but it's like, this is fake.
Yep.
Like,
because Nanami is alive, and that's not. But even that, like, that's a different ass fucking character technically. Like, it's based off of Nanami, but it's not like she's an AI, right? So,
in a non-transphobic society, we would also have more trans characters, probably. Also, we wouldn't have Breaking Bad if we had free healthcare. I haven't seen Breaking Bad, but that's a funny description. But like,
you at least know the premise
like,
of Breaking Bad, right? Like how it starts.
No, not really. Isn't he like a drug dealer or something?
He's a school teacher who becomes a drug dealer because he can't get his kids through college. He's failing to pay the bills, and he gets lung cancer, so he can't pay his cancer treatment either. So he gets into drugs because he has that skill for it, and he needs money. So that's what Titania means. But it's like, you can't have Breaking Bad with free healthcare, because the whole premise hinges on healthcare is fucking expensive in America, basically. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I like Murazaki's comment that like, it's not outright bad, but it feels like it doesn't really like add anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Because my takeaway from it was that, like, you know, it shouldn't matter, right? Like, because if talent is a chain, well, you know, like because that's the whole reason that they, you know, don't go, like, they're the dropouts. They're not fit for school, right? Like, we can't just say like Hinata's the only one with limitless potential because he's not talented. Everyone else is fucked though, right? So, but also, yeah, like, in that way, it shouldn't matter whether he has his talents or not, but, like, yeah, you could do it either way. Like, that's also true, so,
It could also be, Titania said, it could also be impossible to have a Chihiro story in a non-transphobic society, because we'd be more chill about gender, unless it was a Twilight Zone episode. Yeah, with like the healthcare thing, that just reminds me of one time I remember a tweet going around that went viral that was like family sells car to pay off medical bills or surgery or something, and then like years later, the person who bought the car sells the car to the person who sold the car to pay off medical bills.
Oh
And
my
that being
god.
like framed as like, oh, it's inspiring, it's cool, and people from not America being like, what the fuck, that's horrible.
No, I've definitely seen it. It's the one with the, there's the one stock image. There's like a guy walking with this girl, and he's like looking over his shoulder, and it's like the girl is like, something, tragic reality, and the girl he's looking at over his shoulder is like inspirational story, like, because it's some tragic reality being framed as an inspirational story. It's like, something like that. I butchered it, but it's fucked up. I was just having a fucking giggle. Fuck you. Togami. Piece of shit.
Yeah, no, it seems like a lot of people ignore the nighttime rule. Because I feel like most of the murders happen overnight.
Yeah. I think, hold on. I'm trying, because I feel like I might have addressed that in my fanfic in some way, but then, no, that's right, I had a character who was, like, patrolling throughout the nights, basically, and I literally just had to write around that because I ended up also still a lot of murders, if not most of them, took place at night. But,
well, because I know, like, the nighttime rule is more self-imposed by the students,
yes.
I think.
No, yeah, exactly. There's no instance where it's Monokuma imposed, I'm pretty sure, so.
But yeah, I could fully see, like a Kiyotaka, like, just patrolling the halls because he's student council president, or what's his role again?
Fuck, it's
moral.
Like, it's the moral committee.
Yeah, moral compass.
Yeah, moral. Yeah.
Isn't it kind of like framed as like a club thing?
No, it's.
Like,
I don't think it's. I've seen the trope in some manga and stuff, but there is kind of like, how Madoka is like a health officer in Madoka Magica. There's also like a moral officer in a sense where they go around like making sure people are following the rules and stuff. So he's he's an ultimate talent version of that, where he's a perfect student basically. And yeah, Coleman, I should look up that Q&A because because he basically confirms that the DR. I mean, he answers the question in a way that highlights how different the DR2 and DR3 Nanamis are. So interesting.
What is the Danganronpa style that makes all the characters so attractive?
I mean, go on.
Danganronpa does have good character designs. I feel like the one thing I've noticed with, like, when I was going through like Taldev or like Danganronpa S, is like the way that the art style evolves over time. It's definitely like the cast of Danganronpa 1 always looks weird compared to the other two, because there's like, I don't know if it's like a difference in the shading or just like different artist or just different art style.
It's definitely this. I'm pretty sure it's the same character designer, because he also he does the character designs for a lot of Kodaka works, like Akudama Drive, Tribe 9, Rain Code. So which is, I guess, I mean, 2 of those were anime. So but you can fucking tell, like, if you ever watch Akudama Drive, like it's like, hey, this guy's what talent is this character? Because like there's definitely issues, like I don't know, something about the hands tend to bother me, but overall I like the art style. So
also reading that comment about Nanami like having a program father or whatever, that just makes like reminds me of like, I've heard a headcanon of like, Chiaki's like AI, so it's like Chihiro was a programmer, so it's like something that like Chihiro would create something like a Chiaki. I don't know, I think I butchered it.
Well, I'm pretty. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that because I just remember that it's like I'm pretty sure the two characters she was referring to were Chihiro and Alter Ego, so as her parents basically. So
Oh, okay. I think I missed a step there.
okay, gotcha.
Or 3. New World Order.
Let's fucking go.
What pronouns do they use for computer, Chihiro?
All I remember is Hifumi saying that because it's a program, it doesn't have it's 2D that so he can see it however he wants to. But and also it's like, well, I mean, Chihiro literally imitates Mondo, so in theory, or not, Alter Ego imitates Mondo. Wow, those words were all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's like, it is a program, not a being. I mean, I guess it's an AI, so I don't know.
Yeah, like I do kind of wonder how much of Chihiro is reflected in Alter Ego, like even down to like the All right,
well,
I guess I'm just gonna let that thought go. I don't.
Well, Alter Ego is more like bubbly. I think I'm okay. Maybe I'm just remembering. I like how the anime handles Alter Ego because like you just have the like during the because like they're just talking to a computer screen, so they actually just animate Alter Ego more, like having them like roll around, like their head roll around the screen, or it was very cute and good.
Yeah. Also, I see this line by Monokuma, and I just connected it to like, Chihiro saying like "yowai, yowai, yowai,"
Oh.
and like. So I'm just like, I don't know if there's anything you would take. Actually, yeah, but I don't know if it's like meant to be Monokuma like poking fun at those two characters.
Well, Junko,
like,
that's Junko also imitates, right? Like I think I've seen like people picking apart her sprites in the last trial and saying like because she has like a cutesy one that people associate with Asahina. She has a one with glasses that people associate with Togami. She has a depressed one that people associate with Fukawa, right? So it's like, oh, she's like in some ways like reflecting
that's really clever.
I forget what Hagakure's was because she doesn't have a fucking dumbass sprite. But so I just remember people.
Or there's the one where like she's like royalty.
That one I remember, yeah, but I don't know that I can associate with any of the surviving characters in the last trial.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically it's like that's still an interesting idea of like her imitating others likely to mock them, right? Because that's just very on brand, right? So because I didn't notice her say like Monokuma going mean, where it's like, oh, that because if it was voiced, it would be like yowai, suyoi, right? Like the
Yeah.
Good catch. And if we talk longer, we get more New World Order, so all is well.
Yeah.
Oh, Hagakure would be the sprite where she's imitating Dio. I don't think that's quite. Yeah, it was an interesting idea, but and that's not on brand. I did forget about that sprite. I was trying like, what other sprites does she have? Because she also has one where she's literally holding up Monokuma, but that's very much not. And I don't think she has like a clear. This one's Nagi. This one's Kirigiri. So it's not like all the survivors, but it was an interesting thought.
Well, I know, like, Mondo is, like, a delinquent. Is there kind of, like, some connection there? Like, Mondo is similar to, like, JoJo's characters, and so, like, would...
I think if he's a reference to anyone, it's it's definitely Josuke from Part 4, because his stand is Crazy Diamond, and the pickaxe and his coat had Crazy Diamond on the back, and Diamondo, Diamond, right? Like, it's their name.
Okay, so it was Crazy Diamond that was But
yes.
Like I haven't seen enough JoJo's to know that for sure, so I didn't want to just say.
I was almost mentioned it earlier, but I figured it's like I guess maybe I should have thought about how like I figured Ron would have mentioned it, I guess, but maybe you forgot, so I should have thought about that.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
Yeah, my bad.
Lots happened.
Yeah. That was fun. It was kind of interesting how disproportionately long we spent on the post trial compared to like in the last two streams. Like because yeah, this was oh my god, we've been streaming for 3.5 hours.
Oh God.
Oh my lord, we were talking about that for a long time.
I have to take Bree to a job interview for an overnight position in a couple hours.
Oh well, I'm glad we finished up before then because I also have to do something in a couple hours.
And like eat dinner.
Food is nice.
Yeah, it's like 7:30 here.
Oh yeah, fail story, I guess. Not fail story. It turned out interesting, but basically, I made chili, and the recipe called for beef broth, and I forgot to get beef broth, and I didn't want to go to the store. So I basically took a cup of barbecue sauce and mixed it, half a cup of barbecue sauce, and then a half a cup of water, and I used that instead. So it's kind of a little sweet, but it actually tastes perfectly fine. So I was like, well, that actually worked. So I don't know. Just I was thinking of dinner, and it's like, because I'm probably gonna have more of that chili today, and so I just thought I'd share because I fucked up, but it turned out okay. So I don't know. I was just thinking about dinner. I'm hungry.
Have a chicken salad.
Nice. Have you been cooking lately? Because I know you've talked about wanting to learn how, but or do you still like? I don't know.
I haven't like cooked any new dishes recently, but there are like a few things we kind of like cycle through.
Gotcha.
In like a cooking rotation or whatever.
I just don't want to hear. I've been eating chicken nuggets for the past 5 years. So that's like, so I'm glad you're not eating chicken nuggets exclusively. So I don't know why I thought that. It's a smiley face chicken nuggets that were the meme, right? That was the.
Or is it like I hear people talk about like dino nuggies.
Those are the meme, but I know the you specific meme because you like this is my last meal of the year or something with smiley face chicken nuggets or something like that.
No, it was like smiley fries.
Oh, French fries. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I think there was one year I did like a birthday tweet where I'm like, here's my birthday meal, and it was like bagel bites and smiley fries, and they were just all circles. So it was like a circle meal. And I was like, I'm definitely a functioning adult. But this was like 3 years ago or something at this point.
I certainly hope that you eat better now. Especially since you live
I eat 3 meals a day now, so
that's great. That's important. Especially nowadays when financial advisors are suggesting you skip breakfast to save money, which doesn't because for what was the tweet? It was like, at first they were telling us just not to eat our avocado toast, now they're just telling us not to eat. We laugh because we don't want to cry.
Yeah.
Okie doke. So yeah, anything?
Yeah,
you wanna
actually,
talk about?
I'm like, I can't skip breakfast because like I need to have food in my system to take my ADHD
You're
medication,
right.
or else I'll get like sick.
I don't know. I said you're right, like I remembered that, but don't mind me. And yeah, I've heard it. Okay, it's funny. I heard this, but it's more like I have another reason to think it, but it's funny. In Fresh Precure, one of the characters mentioned how it's like healthiest to eat a large breakfast and have a small lunch. I guess I don't know why that's the case, but I just thought about that in regards because Titania's like breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and it's like yeah, let's fucking go. So anyway, did you have anything to finish talking? Any other points you can think about the
sure
cheer?
that the breakfast being the most important meal of the day isn't just a con by big breakfast to
I mean,
don't know.
Got Milk was a giant campaign to get people to drink more milk, and it fucking worked. So it's like, you know, but anyway, yeah, final points about the Danganronpa Chapter 2, or do you think you got it all out?
I like Chihiro
Gasp.
and Mondo.
I agree. They're good. Danganronpa good. But yeah, thank you everybody for...
Genocider Show is also a vibe.
Oh my, yeah, I kind of forgot about her because she kind of fades into the background, but she's also very good. But yeah, I was gonna say, so I guess, I mean, if you want to talk, because I know like Titania at least, when are you streaming? Watch it. I was watching your stuff, but because I remember I popped in on one of the watching your videos, and I was like, oh, Titania's there, and then I was streaming last week, and Titania was like, hi, bye, and I'm like, I know where you are, because Mathwiz is streaming right now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do another one of those tomorrow. I was planning to do it today, but we were planning to do Danganronpa yesterday, and then it turned out to be Valentine's Day, so we postponed that. So I postponed my stream. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
You're gonna make Titania choose between you and the Weeb Club. I see how it is. No, I don't.
Oh no! Well, what
It-
time does the Weeb Club start?
Same time I do my streams usually, so which is also the same time you do your streams. So I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll
No.
stream sometime next week because
That's just the YouTube game, isn't it? Just cannibalizing each other's audience.
yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, so I think I do have one more rewatching videos, but I think instead I'm going to do more going over old video ideas because I had fun doing that. And I haven't done it in a while. So but yeah, I think so. Like I said, for the meantime, I'm done with Danganronpa. I'm gonna try and go back to that script and see if I can finish it and get that edited. By that edit, I think Mathwiz is going to edit it. Hopefully, maybe, please. I love you.
Oh wait, is this the Danganronpa one you
Yes,
said?
yes. Which we've talked about. I don't know if you'll be able to or you'll have the time to, but we'll see. We'll see.
Would I have to get the footage, or
You
we
have the
maybe already
footage,
talked
don't
about
you?
that.
Yeah, I thought that you said it would be fine because you thought you have a lot of the footage already from your.
Oh, just like using my streams.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but I just because and then what was I gonna say?
What if Mathwiz guest starred in the Weeb Club? Just kidding, unless.
I mean, I've been thinking about other
I
guests,
feel like-
but
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, and you had said that like the Weeb Club already had some guests lined up.
Well,
At that
we
time.
had at the time it was Hot Boy Spicy and Shaves, but now we don't have any guests lined up. So actually, maybe I'll talk with you about it. That's a good idea because like I hadn't thought about it in a minute, and I mean but like because I talk to you all the time, so it's like with me, it's like I don't even know what we talk about, but obviously Nun and Mindy would be there, so but I have to mention it with them. I know they'll be okay with it, but it's more about like the when and where. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about it. But thank you for reminding me, Tanya, because that might be what we do next week if time permits. And then
Let's go.
so yeah, next stream I don't know if it's gonna be Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, but I'll be doing my more old videos ideas, and yeah, that's that about does it for we're streaming the Weeb Club tomorrow. Yeah, that's all the announcements. So thank you everybody for showing up, and have a good one.